This is another episode of UFO Garage.
I'm Ben.
I'm Joe, and this is where we talk about UFOs, aliens, and all things weird.
Talking about aliens, UFOs, all things weird.
That's right.
Joe, what's up,
right.
dude?
Man, not a lot, dude. Not a lot. I'm pretty excited about tonight's episode, dude.
Me too.
We got a special guest on with us again tonight.
Episode 23. We've got Jocelyn. It's one of our favorite people that we met at UFO Congress. She's been kind of our guide through a lot of different subjects.
Yeah.
We reached out to her a couple of weeks ago. She sent us some photos, you guys, some physical photo evidence that we're gonna kind of do a little different format for this podcast. It's gonna be kind of like an interactive thing. So what I've done is I've posted on our website, which it'll be a brand new website when you guys click on it. Scroll all the way down at the bottom. It's a blog post. So I'm gonna start doing like every episode is a different blog post.
Yeah.
Click on the blog post, and you can see whatever we're talking about, any images. So you don't have to go to the Facebook group. I mean, I'd love it for you to join the Facebook group. There's also a link on the website for that. But I'm going to post this gallery of photos that Jocelyn sent to us, and we're going to kind of go through this gallery of photos that Jocelyn has taken herself, or she's received from people that she has worked with in her initiatives to write this book that she's been working on. And Jocelyn's, just so you guys know, she's been in the UFO community for over 20 years. She lives in Sedona. She's had multiple experiences. Joe, you know a little bit more about.
She's an intuitive. I mean, she used to do the tours,
she studied
UFO
with the
tours.
Dalai Lama.
She studied with the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this woman is legit. She's one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met. Just, has amazing stories. She's been all over the place, and she knows so many people. Yeah. In the UFO community.
I'm stoked to go through these photos with her. I hope she just explains each photo bit by bit, because they're amazing. She sent the photos to us. I'm so stoked to kind of go through each one.
Dude, yeah, my jaw kind of hit the floor.
Yeah.
When I saw some of these, dude. These are incredible. And the coolest part about it, dude, is that it doesn't matter. Whoever's listening right now, if you want to see these photos, go to our website and check them out, because you have never seen any of these photos anywhere. You can't Google it. I mean, they're legit.
These are UFOGaragePC.com. If you're on your way to work right now, pause and pick it back up. And if you're by a computer, go along with us through these photos. I've named them. And hopefully we'll kind of go through each one of them and kind of hey, we're looking at this photo. Check out this. I feel like I want it to be like an interactive thing. If you're listening to this, fine. But if you could pull this up on your laptop or your computer, it would be so awesome just to kind of go through each thing.
Yeah, these photos are insane. I mean, It's just photos, of Bradshaw Ranch. There's photos of cave, native cave paintings that are, depicting themselves and ETs. There's crafts,
crystal clear crafts,
actual
alien saucers,
photos of saucers,
and a triangular shape.
These photos are incredible, are absolutely incredible. So definitely don't miss out on that. Definitely go to UFOGaragePC.com. Check out the blog part of the new website, and enjoy yourself. Just have fun with this. I mean,
I'm so stoked.
I'm assuming
I'm excited to see what she's gonna say.
Yeah. I mean, it may be kind of a longer episode, just because there's all these photos.
Dude,
man.
I'm thinking this thing is gonna be 5 hours long, bro. We might have to split this up into two.
Yes, but yeah, man, yeah. So I'm excited to have her on. She'll be on here in just a little bit. But first, man, let's what's going on in Facebook land? What's going on with all the listeners?
Before we go to the Facebook, I'd just like to say, so we sent out a thing on our last podcast about some donations, and we're really looking for donations to buy these GoPros. And these GoPros are meant to, we want to do like a live YouTube show. Put it up on YouTube and do kind of like a live feed, and just have our faces on there and have it be interactive, where we can put up images just like this one. I wish we had the video, the GoPros for this episode, because it would have been perfect. We can get our reactions and stuff. That's what we've been saving up for, and we've also been just saving up for different things like paying for t-shirts, new designs, or going for us to go to different conferences where we meet new people. We have more guests. We have better content. So I just want to thank you for Philip Knight for donating to our cause for these GoPros. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dude, thank you so much. And Derek, also, thank you so much for your donation.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
We appreciate it very much. Very, very much.
And thank you so much, everybody that has bought a t-shirt in the past couple of months. We've only had the t-shirts for a few months. We still owe a few people some free t-shirts, by the way.
We do. We're going to get those out pretty soon.
So I'm bowing down to you guys. Thank you so much for donating and also buying t-shirts and supporting this podcast. Like, it means so much to us. Like, this is something I really love to do, and you guys are making it happen for us.
Yeah, definitely lets us know we're doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. All right, so enough with the sappiness. So one thing that happened this past week, pretty awesome post. There was an experience that happened, dude.
Yeah.
And Joe, what's your take on this experience from Delano
Coles, man? Yeah, thank you so much, dude, for posting on the group, dude. That's pretty awesome. So he says, apparently he's at work, right? And he says, just seeing a bright star-like object in the sky of, what is that? Carlisle Pike. Yeah, it glimmered twice and then immediately just faded away after I thought to myself, what the fuck is that? Yeah, and then I got back into the warehouse about 10 miles away, got out of the truck, and what do you know? I look up, and there's this shiny-ass object hovering above this bright-ass star. My partner saw it too. So whoever was with him in the truck saw this thing as well, dude, right? They both saw the same thing.
So he sees this thing. He gets back to wherever he works. His buddy sees it zigzag across the sky, faded away for a second, then it comes back, glimmered, then faded out again, and now it's gone. I mean, clear blue sky, no clouds, saw it fly in, disappear, and he's sober as hell. I mean, obviously he's working. He said, because I'm at work. Shit, that was amazing. I love how you put it in that parentheses.
Yes. Yeah, man, and he says, sadly I didn't get any pictures because the first one I was driving and the second one I was completely in awe. But I know what I saw the first time and my partner saw it the second time.
Yeah, so this happened in Harrisburg, PA. Is
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania?
Maybe, yeah.
4:35. I mean, that's shortly a couple hours before sundown. I mean, obviously, they saw something. They, as in two people, saw the same thing.
Yeah,
and this created quite a ruckus on our group. Everybody kind of chimed in. Like, I just love that.
Yeah,
everybody kind of like, well, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's what this is all about. Like,
absolutely.
Dude, stories like that.
Absolutely,
I
dude.
Freaking love
it,
and
dude. I asked him if that was his first experience, and he said no.
Oh,
that he's seen things in the sky before. So So yeah,
hey,
man,
dude, props for looking up. Nobody looks up anymore, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean that's extremely important because they're showing up. They're showing up a lot more, and a lot more people are becoming conscious of this thing. So that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for posting on the group page, man. Because if any of you guys have any type of experience or anything like that, I mean, maybe your local MUFON group is one place to, report your sighting. But definitely the UFO, Garage Podcast group is another place to report it, man, because we love stuff like that.
The group is it's like half of us is like a little skeptical. Half of us is like, if we think it's kind of bullshit, we're probably not going to comment on it.
Right.
So that's kind of a good indicator. It might be a cool video.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We all love a cool video. Right?
Who doesn't?
And some of it might be CGI. It's like obviously CGI. Like cool video, dude. But like, all right, we're kind of all looking out for the real deal. That's kind of the vibe.
Yeah.
That's what we're kind of going for. It's like not to, diminish anybody that's come across a cool video on YouTube and like, hey, this is, like that video of it obviously was like a drone and then there was like chaser bullets.
Yeah.
Okay, so we looked at it practically and we all kind of, as a group on the Facebook group, decided that, it was probably, here's some footage of people in the military actively shooting at a drone for an exercise. Okay, so we figured it out.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, it is a UFO until it's not, okay? That's the difference. It's like a flying saucer is not a UFO, like Stanton Friedman always said.
That's right.
It's like it's a UFO until it's not.
Yep.
Not all UFOs are flying saucers. Not flying.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
And we're all learning at the same time, and that's what the group is for.
Yes, sir. Yeah, dude. My subscribe button post. Yeah. I was like, hey, you guys were also on YouTube. Definitely go over there and hit that subscribe button. Yeah. And 2 of you unsubscribed. So that was cool.
Yeah. Thanks for. Well, I like your idea. Like maybe people didn't realize they were already subscribed, and they went to subscribe, and they pressed the button oh well, now they're unsubscribed.
Yeah,
and they just forgot. I love that that pompous view. Oh, they definitely want to be subscribed.
Oh my god, yeah, that was pretty funny.
People that didn't know that they were
subscribed. I was like, no. I know. I was like, hey,
it broke my heart.
You guys are awesome, and then everybody unsubscribed. But no, we got it back. We got those 2 back. No worries, man. No worries. You know what I'm saying? Good stuff, dude. Good stuff.
Chris, what's up, dude? What's this Jefferson, Texas Bigfoot conference? Dude?
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to listen to that yet.
We haven't yet.
I'm going to listen through that though, and next podcast I'm gonna have some commentary.
Definitely. William, what's up? William T. Okay, I have my thoughts on this video.
Okay, the SpaceX video.
It's is that the Starship or is that just a regular? Because it seems like it starts as the Star Hop, or am I saying that right? It's like the
one that lands back to the ground.
Yeah, it's like a little hop. It's like a little exercise that they did. And then it kind of cuts to one of the Falcon rockets landing, which is okay. So those are 2 different launches. First off, those are 2 different launches. Right. So the point of the video is kind of and this is not William, by the way, making this video. He just kind of posted it on here.
I like his skepticism.
Yeah, no, I love it too.
That's what I enjoyed about the post in general was the fact that it was like, hey,
we have to all try and truly critically think about things to use Black Swan theory. Basically what he's saying is okay, I saw this video. He brought it to our attention, therefore the group, and hey, maybe you guys that are new to this are kind of, I'll kind of subscribe to anything I see. It's what he did, William, is kind of bring this video to light in this group to say you have to think critically.
Absolutely.
Because this, to me, is it's a lot of wishful thinking.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so you did some research.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's made by a flat earther, right?
I think that the SpaceX, while maybe doing some really good things,
Lots of rapid prototyping.
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a little fuckery going on. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't surprise me.
It would not surprise me either.
You know, and you know, you've seen the video where the car is floating in space, and he's like, you know, it's real because it looks fake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I don't really know how to feel about that. Like,
Yeah.
I would have rather you not said that, right? But
it doesn't look fake to me.
yeah.
The car, by the way, the car video.
Yeah. So the car video, right? And so in this video, they're talking about this, you know, the stabilizers on the rocket, and how is that ever gonna stabilize the rocket? Why aren't there stabilizers on the top of the rocket and things like that? But hey, dude, I mean, we're just Dr. Scientists.
We're just Dr. Scientists.
We're not rocket scientists, right? You know what I'm saying? We're not rocket scientists.
That's what we have to always come back on. All right, guys. Do we really look at this thing? I mean, in our first few episodes, we were talking about like, okay, so there's some video out there of possible UFOs that look like, man, there's no way a craft could move in the way it does. Right. And who's to say it can't move the way it does if it has anti-gravitic technology?
Right.
Okay, now so fast forward a few months, we're looking at this real thing, and it's moving in this kind of particular way, and there's this dude in this video that's like really analyzing the trajectory of the craft and how it shoots up and then it lands, and it's like kind of disproving it.
Yeah,
bro.
And he's really critical because there's footage of it launching,
yes,
there's footage of it landing, but there's no ground footage around the rocket.
But there is footage of these cattle running, right?
Yeah, like running across the screen. Yeah. He's claiming that they're CGI cattle. I can't really tell. Right?
And who's to say the cameras aren't going to be burnt up by the heat, the residual heat from the rocket upon landing anyway? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I guarantee you, if you tweeted at Elon like, "Hey, how come we don't have any footage?" He would probably tweet you back like, "Oh yeah, because it burns up." It's pretty simple.
Yeah. So yeah,
there's no more camera.
I honestly, from a scientific perspective,
Dr. Scientist
perspective, I really can't tell either way. You know what I'm saying? I think some of the stuff they are doing is incredible.
Opinions.
Right. Yeah. This is just our opinion. I think some of the stuff that they're doing is incredible. On the other hand, do I think it's a good idea that Elon Musk wants to nuke Mars? No. Right. So they're obviously not all good ideas. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's some they're messing around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At some point. But
who knows, man?
What I like about this, though, is that this post really got my brain, just kind of cranking the gears a little bit on, like, I kind of, like, just took SpaceX at face value. Exactly, I assume with anything like this, there's some sort of, like, behind closed doors, maybe some sort of CGI every now and then.
It's so publicized.
Yeah, exactly. So, the other thing is that it was posted by Flat Earth Hungry, right? And flat earthers don't believe in anything, dude.
Are they hungry for flat earth?
I think they're talking about hungry, like the country, like the country hungry. But
give me some cold cuts.
I mean, those guys don't believe in anything,
give me
right?
Some cold cuts.
They don't believe in rockets.
Some bread.
They don't even think it's a real thing. They don't think rockets are a real thing.
What else? Ciabatta.
They don't believe the Earth is round. I mean, I think that alone is just I don't know.
Anything flat Earth discredits anything.
I think flat earthers are kind
of
I
hope that I don't think our group would ever become that, but like if anybody like equates something, if it's part of that organization, it's fucking fake.
Right.
Right,
yeah.
And that's why it's important for this type of post in the context and your explanation of it. Like, explain why you're posting the photo or the video. Like, hey, this is a cool photo or video. I don't fully believe in this. I do believe in that. Here's my ideas. That's where the context comes in too.
Yeah.
When people come into this like group and they don't know anything and they just see these like random videos and there's no explanation. It's like, oh, well, these guys are idiots. Like they believe anything.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that post, William. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Moving on, dude. So I posted about the Dr. Scientist TV show. The t-shirts. Pretty soon those links are going to be outdated because we got a new website. And it's
right.
That we're no longer going to go through Etsy. Etsy takes like a cut. And it's like super complicated where like they charge me and then they charge the person and then they charge me back again. It's like too complicated. So I'm changing the wrap on how we sell t-shirts and how we support this podcast. So
awesome.
By the time you hear this episode, the new website will be up.
Sweet.
We got that cinnamon terry dog. And we got XLs.
Yeah,
all the sizes.
Yeah, seriously.
I figured it out. Yeah, I don't know what
I couldn't figure it out, dude. I was also doing it on my phone, so it was a little difficult.
Well, it's not like I purposely left it out. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I think it was just the manufacturer that I chose from the distributor.
Maybe they didn't carry XL.
Maybe did. Maybe,
what a bunch of weirdos.
Next post is about the Hitler's time machine that was discovered in shock. So, I mean, yeah, I've seen this. You've seen this, the Bell before. I've never seen this exact photo.
Yeah.
It's a pretty compelling photo. There's some weird writing on the side, and there's obviously the swastika, whatever. The article itself does not give a lot of information. Take it for what you will. It's a cool photo.
Yeah.
Great, cool post.
I've seen like artist renditions of it.
Yeah.
But like the actual photo is pretty dope.
Do we know it's an actual photo? I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know.
It looks really cool. The article is like, if you've ever looked into Hitler's time machine, it's the same. There's nothing really new about it, but I mean, it's good to keep it in the conversation.
Yeah, so, totally.
Yeah, Jordan, thanks for posting that. Dude.
I mean, do you think if you're in a UFO, it's kind of a time machine already?
Yeah, man. If you're folding space-time in front of you and you're slipping into a future,
yeah, totally.
Right? Time keeps on slipping into the future.
Yeah.
Space Jam. Let's go. Michael Jordan's
I want to fly like an eagle.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's at the end of every time slip. He's just waiting on you with a golf club.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, it's
oh, God.
Yeah, dude.
Chris Holmes, dude. Hey, the MUFON San Antonio.
Yes.
Hey,
let's go.
I'm going to need you to tell them to move those meetings to Fridays or Saturdays. What? Tuesday?
Every fourth Tuesday.
Dude, I can't make a Tuesday.
Yeah, what kind of job do people have to be able to, like, you have to be retired to be able to go to
Jesus,
a meeting
man. You got to have meetings on Fridays or Saturdays. You know what I'm saying? It's somewhere fun, like the bowling alley or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, come have a beer. Let's talk about some aliens. Once we're done with that shit, then you can go play some bowling. You can go do some bowling, dude. You know, but dude, a Tuesday, I'm gonna have to take vacation for that, bro.
I know, man.
I'm gonna have to take it like an actual vacation day.
That's taking money out of my children's mouth.
Tuesdays
that I don't have,
and then like Wednesday, because like if I drive back Tuesday night, I know I'm gonna be sleepy, and then the next day at work I'm gonna be completely useless, dude. I'm gonna be completely useless. All joking aside, though, I am gonna make a meeting.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna totally go.
Yeah. Eventually, we're gonna make that meeting, but not during December because they don't do holiday meetings.
Hey, but if we go, I'm gonna make a vacation out of it.
Yeah,
we're gonna go to a Hooters.
Oh, dude, we're gonna go to a Hooters. We're gonna go to the meeting, and then we're gonna go back to the Hooters for dinner, and then we're gonna go bowling. Yeah. And Chris, you're coming bowling with us, brother.
Yeah, dude, Chris, you're
definitely coming, dude.
So the backstory behind the Hooters is that, we keep bringing up UFO Congress. Like, that's like the theme of our whole podcast. But we went and like the cheapest food we could find was right across the street. It was Hooters.
Yeah, it was it was the closest thing.
And
it was like the cheapest.
And they had like wings and cheeseburgers.
Yeah, that's
right.
Like
the only thing we're ever hungry for.
And football season had just started,
right.
and it was like the only place you could go catch the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So our wives who are listening, they're like, wait, why did they go to Hooters?
I love that post that you sent me, that text message. And it has Kanye's face on it.
Yes.
And it says that face you make when the Hooters waitress sits next to you in the booth.
Take your order.
Because I remember telling you that, dude, I fucking hate whenever they come and sit down next to you like they know you or something.
Yeah,
it's like,
dude, you don't know me.
Like, dude, get out of the booth. Like, what are you doing? Jeez.
I'd imagine they have like a script. They're like, okay, boys, so what are we thinking? Are we thinking some like shooter poppers?
Maybe.
Or some like
maybe some beers, some cold beers?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, why the fuck would we be here? We need beers. Yes.
Yeah, no,
you don't have to sit next to me to know that.
Yeah, when we sat down, we were like, we're gonna sit. We're gonna
just ask for it. Just bring it.
Like, we were like purposely like sat on the edge of the booth so they wouldn't sit next to us.
That's
remember?
what we did.
We were like, yeah, let's sit right here on the edge because I don't want them to sit here. I just want them to bring me my food. Like it just so happens that this was across the street. You know what I'm saying? It was literally, I wasn't going to spend, $20 on a cheeseburger.
You know what I find funny too is that she had a name tag, but also because we were at the conference, we also had a name tag.
Yes.
So she was like, so Joe, like,
yes.
Are you thinking like a tasty beer? We're
like, yeah.
No.
No. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I noticed you have braces. I have braces too. Shut up, Beavis. Oh god, dude. No. Why does everybody want to see my unit?
My favorite part of that whole movie, Beavis and Butthead Do America, is when they somehow sneak out of the hotel. Beavis still, Butthead still is like in his whitey tights. Yes, walking through the parking lot.
I love that movie so much, dude. Where's the unit? In my pants. Like he doesn't even know that it's in his. It's hilarious.
Right. Okay,
boys, I'm whacking off in my tool shed.
Hey, kill.
Oh God.
Oh, that's so great.
Yes, I love Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead. Love it, dude. All right, man.
Well, that's all. For Facebook.
Dude. So that's it for Facebook, man. You wanna bring out Jocelyn on?
What's up, girl? Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, before we get Jocelyn on, check out UFOGaragePC.com. We got a new website up. We got some merch up there. Get some sentimentary and some
of that sentimentary, dog.
Sentimentary. I still didn't say it right. Some Dr. Scientist t-shirts.
Sentimentary.
Check out Abduction 51 at the bottom. It's one of our sponsors. Got some cool t-shirts. And phoenixshaving.com. You're going to smell good. You're going to look great. Check out our sponsors at the bottom. We got a brand new website. Sophie ought to see it. Let's bring Jocelyn on, dude.
Let's do it, man.
All right.
Hello.
Jocelyn.
There I am.
Hey.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Ben. How are you guys?
We're doing good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I've recovered from the International UFO Congress.
Oh, yeah.
And on to the next thing.
Yes, that is awesome.
Lorian talked me into doing the photography for her UFO con in February. So I've got that to look forward to.
Right on.
Yeah. I would have liked to have gone to Star Works but my daughters are home, and
Yeah, definitely. Well, you got to spend some time with them. But hey, we're gonna see you. We're gonna see you in February. Me and Ben are going out there too.
Yeah.
Hey, no kidding.
Yep.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, we're gonna do some podcasting out there, and we're gonna get a little table. And me and Ben already got our plane ticket, so we're heading out there.
Marijuana is legal in California.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then you gotta come stop by.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. But hey, first of all, speaking of UFO Congress, for everybody that doesn't know, that's where we met you, Jocelyn. We're sitting at the bar. Me and Ben are finished eating our food, and we're getting ready to head out. And along comes Jocelyn, and she comes and sits
with my
down.
camera in my hand.
That's right.
I don't miss a UFO Congress. I've been going many years.
Yes.
And I know now, because I've been going so long, and taking photographs, I know all the speakers and all the players and
that is awesome.
All the fakers and all the liars. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, me and Ben, I'm kind of speaking for Ben here too, but thank you so much for kind of opening up and chit-chatting with us and introducing us to so many people. I mean, if it wasn't for you, me and Ben would have just been standing in the corner all nervous, like not knowing who to talk to.
No, you know what? See, you guys are young and vibrant. I don't know if you noticed, but the rest of the people were over 65. So you have to get involved, because there's got to be somebody that's got to take over this, and take the reins.
Absolutely.
We're losing. There are no more witnesses alive to the Roswell crash.
Wow.
The last one just passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
So this is what I'm talking about, is like these really important cases. Our firsthand witnesses are all going away.
Oh, man.
And so, you have firsthand witness. Now, you are witnessing Blink 182 with, making deals with the Army.
Right,
and,
yeah.
But, that's the big story today is that TTSA has this metamaterials.
Right.
And okay, so where did the metamaterials come from, you might ask? Well, it was some guy that was a dweeb in the Army, and he picked up a piece and put it into his pocket.
Huh.
And he had it in his closet for many years, and he sent it to Art Bell because, he was getting old and everybody else was old grandpa,
Right.
And so Art Bell had it for many years, and they tried to study it. But, studying those metamaterials back in 1976, I think it was, when Art Bell got it, that'd be like, handing Thomas Edison an iPhone.
Right.
And, there just simply was not the technology. They would have said, oh, this is really interesting, and no, I don't know what it is, and I have no idea how you can separate those layers.
Yeah.
And so we went as far as technology goes, and that's the way it's been. These metamaterials have been known for years and years. And they bring them out and they test them. Nothing comes of it because we can't test them. Our technology, we're not smart enough. We're
right.
not, we're not an ET. And
Not yet.
30 million years more advanced than the Homo noeticus. And, these guys got as far as they could, and then Art Bell passed away, and Art had gifted them to Linda Moulton Howe.
Right, Linda had it, yeah.
So they belong to Linda.
Uh-huh.
And Linda has loaned them to her friends at TTSA.
Okay.
And she said, you've got 6 months. And so, look at all these TTSA guys.
Yeah.
They all come from the CIA and the FBI and the DOD and the DIA.
And for our...
Louis Alonso is a bioweapons specialist and has patents in bioweapons.
Wow. I didn't realize that. I'm really glad that
this guy defended America, and he still is on the I'm defending America. And I'm telling you, he's not. These guys on TTSA, this is my opinion, they're defending us against the deep state.
Huh.
And they want this ET information to come out. Just look at all these black projects. If they can make them white projects,
right,
we would have the answers to global warming, to energy, to religion, to medicine, to science, to space travel.
Uh-huh.
We could become a first civilization, partners and trade with other worlds. But no, we would be too afraid to do that.
Right.
That's what are these a threat to national security? No. In the Project Blue Book ended. We are not going to look into this any further. Case closed. Roswell was a weather balloon, and if there's anything else out there, it is not a threat to national security.
Ooh.
Period. The end.
So just for people that are listening and don't know what TTSA stands for, it stands for To the Stars Academy.
Right.
If anybody's listening, you want to look him up. It's the whole Tom DeLonge thing, and he's got a lot of backers and people that are a part of their program. Even one guy in Austin, and it's just, and that's where we're from. So it's a huge conglomerate of people that are kind of bringing the UFO phenomenon and a lot of these materials out into the public. So just a little recap for people that are listening that haven't heard of this before. I just kind of wanted to bring that out.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I if you turn on your computer and just go to any UFO group, you're going to be seeing it's the hottest story on social media.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be seeing things about To the Stars Academy, TTSA, and the Army and Blink 182. The reason that they went to the Army is Linda said you can have these for 6 months. And they said, okay, well, we need a lab. We need we need the most cutting edge lab there is in the world. And where do you think there is the most cutting edge lab in the world?
Probably the military.
Probably the military, and it's probably the Army at White Sands, where they took the original Roswell materials.
I've been to White Sands. It's a very eerie place. It's a very weird vibe.
I know, not White. I meant Wright-Patterson.
Wright-Patterson, yeah.
Well, White Sands is. I was
the
just
missile
thinking
range.
that there was just another sighting, big giant sighting at White Sands. Just I want to say day before yesterday.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, things are happening, and Linda said you got 6 months, so all these guys on To the Stars Academy that have ties with their best friends in the Pentagon said, we can look at this. We know that it has an anti-gravitic effect.
Right.
And, there was a very... there was a private email that became public between Eric Davis and Hal Puthoff, where Hal Puthoff said, these are physicists, And
how put off is the one in Austin?
It's a very small world in the physicist community.
Right, yeah.
And Hal Puthoff, who is, wrote papers about anti-gravity effects, told Eric that, in this public email, back off, you don't know what you're talking about, and shut up.
Huh.
Wow.
And, so I want to know, why did you say that?
Yeah.
And, and there's, what you need to do is to look at TTSA as the reimagined aviary group. And if you don't know what the aviary group is, then you need to just do a quick search on the internet.
Right.
But it's just, they've just have rolled this out again. They've rolled out the metamaterials again, and they know that according to all of the physicists, that it should levitate, or they can try to get it to levitate, because they discovered that this material will soften the space-time continuum, which means, back in the old days, we thought, well, to travel to another system 35 light years away, it would take so much time and so much energy. We just couldn't even count that high.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we're finding out with this metamaterials, if they can prove the theory, the mathematical theory from this group of physicists, Kit Green, then they can fold space-time, and it would take about a AAA battery in energy.
Oh, wow. That's
To
incredible.
get to the 35 light years away.
Whoa.
I mean, who was it that came out and said, we now have the technology to take ET home?
Right, yeah. Man, I'm so glad that Linda gave them 6 months. I think that's awesome that they have to, one, give it back to her, and two, she put a time limit on it to where they have to really get the ball rolling. They can't just hold on to it and sit on it for years and years.
Right. And also, like, when you hand over materials like that, and if you're getting metallurgy done or any kind of testing, you have to destroy part of it to analyze it. So, number one, she's not going to get the whole sample back, but at least she's going to get it back. I think that's really good. I mean, I hope that she's going to get it back.
Yeah, they're allowed to shave off so many milliliters. But, let's not forget, this wasn't the only piece, the piece that you're being shown. There are these other pieces that look like they've been stamped out of something.
Uh-huh.
And from people that we know in the UFO community, they said, yeah, if you were going to test them, then you would make all these samples. So you would, stamp out so many, and they're about thumbnail sized, of a different metamaterial. And it is some of them are 99.999% pure aluminum.
Whoa.
And we don't have the ability to make that.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and again, I mean, the word metamaterial literally means, like, it's a material made of other materials, right? It's a conglomerate of metallurgy that is put together that's not really understood, right? Is that kind of the idea behind metamaterial? Meta meaning, like, it's one within the same. Is that kind of?
Yes. So what we're talking about is squirrely math, and this is where you have to, in all equations, you have to throw in non-locality. You don't have to be there to make it happen, kind of thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, Einstein said, I don't know why God plays dice with the universe, but he does. And, and he explained this fuzzy math theory. Remember that?
Yeah.
And, okay, so now you go out and you look at a flower and you can see something really extraordinary in flowers and around here in cactus, is that they have this curve that is 3.33, right?
Yeah, the golden circumference.
Right. But when you look at it, you'll notice that not everything is perfect. It's not like, coming out of a computer the way that a scientist would make a flower.
Yeah, right. It's not completely symmetrical.
Exactly. And it's more fluid than that. It is not perfect, and that gives it beauty. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind, even when you're talking about Sedona and the vortex and the portals and how you work around it. Now, you get around something that is the metamaterials that even Art Bell would talk about on his show many years ago, is that he said, I just felt good. I felt like I could really think.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's crazy. I remember.
Because it changes the electromagnetic synapses in your brains.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you totally have
heightens it. So what they're thinking is they're going to get these guys that have been penciling out all of these equations into the room with this.
Right, yeah.
And they're going to they've never really tested it for the theories because, again,
how do you test it?
Up until now, we have not had a lab that was technologically advanced enough to saw a piece of this off.
Wow.
Whoa, I didn't realize that. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Hey, so Jocelyn, I'm sorry. Can I interrupt you for a second? So you said Sedona.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I kind of want to, we kind of didn't give our listeners an idea of who you are, Jocelyn Buckner, and I kind of just want to go on that just for a second.
Okay.
So I know this might feel awkward as I'm talking about you as you're not as you're not here, but I mean you've been a resident for over 20 years of Sedona, and that's in Arizona. It's one of the most beautiful places. Me and Joe actually went there for UFO Congress this past year in September. We went up to Cathedral Rock. We we saw the vortex area. We went out later that night. We saw some weird lights. I have a personal awesome place in my heart for that place forever.
Absolutely.
And so anyway, getting on to who you are, Jocelyn, is you've been a paranormal and UFO tour guide and intuitive for a really long time. And you've been visiting the vortices, the portal area, and Bradshaw Ranch for 15 years. And your tours have been featured on CNN Travel and internet radio shows. And you're currently, you're working on a book about Sedona's the paranormal hotspots and vortices. And I'm telling you, I didn't know this until I read your bio that you sent over. I'm so excited for this book because I'm so stoked. Because experiencing it firsthand, it's kind of an out of body place and frame of mind and kind of thing. And it really kind of changed my perception of, quote unquote, vortices. I never really heard about it, vortexes until Joe kind of told me about it. And I was like, what's a vortex?
Yeah.
We went out there and we experienced it, and it was a really, really awesome thing. And, through emailing you, Jocelyn, you sent me these images, and I'd love to go through these images. And for anybody listening, we're gonna post this folder, this Google Images folder, on our website, you can scroll down to the bottom. We have a blog post now. We're going to make a blog. We've made a blog post that you can click on to kind of go through these images as we're talking about them. Anyway,
okay.
So I sorry to interrupt, but like I feel like we need to tell the listeners.
No, it's good to stay on target, and I'm anxious to talk about these. And thank you for giving me the encouragement. I was just looking at my book today, thinking, "Oh, when I'm ever going to finish this?" This is like. Oh my gosh, it's just such big work.
Don't you have two other books online?
But a lot of what of these images here will be in the book. I'm going to get some a permission from Tom Dongo. I haven't done that yet, but he did say that I could share them with you.
Good.
So first of all, you were talking about a vortex and what is a vortex. And in Sedona, there is these energy spots that are just naturally there. There is a grid over the entire world, and they're of ley lines. And again, they're not straight. Think again about that fuzzy math and the way that, not everything is in a straight line.
Right.
And it's done that way because it gives us character and beauty and that type of thing. But, what happens is this natural energy is coming up. It's electromagnetic, and gravity is 8 times weaker than the electromagnetic energy here.
Huh.
Whoa.
So
it's
when
lighter.
you're here, people a lot of times, they wouldn't feel it if you hit them over the head with a ball. A ball hammer. But there are other people that get very emotional, when they're here. It's called transcranial electromagnetic stimulation.
Whoa.
And that vortex energy causes your left side of your brain to cross over to your right side of the brain so that you can give your creative side a kind of a reality check. Huh. And on the same way, your right side of the brain is going over to your left side and giving your analytical brain a break. It's like, okay, come on. So it crosses right at the pineal gland, which is the seat of intuition. So more people get ideas or, I should follow through on that kind of ideas. Or if they're a writer, they can remove writer's block, and artists get really inspired. That's why there's an artist colony here.
Yeah,
and then there's also, the New Age group and everybody that is involved in this fringe of the ET and the UFOs and the Bigfoots and all of that. Now, the geology of Sedona is like a white quartz crystal, then there is water, and then there's this red dirt, and the red dirt is iron oxides, the same thing that makes your blood red.
Yeah.
So when people come here and they say, "Oh, Sedona's in my blood," well, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
But the three of them together with this electromagnetic pulse creates a battery effect. Now, I understand that a lot of people are feeling like it's not as strong as it used to be. That's true. We're losing groundwater.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
That makes
So
sense,
that's part of the battery effect. There's more and more people coming. There's more and more water being taken out of the the ground.
The aquifer.
So anyway, when people say, "Oh, yeah, it's not the same," they're just building and turning it into a parking lot. Well, that's true too, but it's mostly the water. There's a water issue, and I can't. In some areas, it feels like it's making it stronger. The energy stronger, but kind of harder. And in other areas, it's just getting weaker.
Right.
All right. Well, let's go through the photos. If you'll open up that first one.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's called Four Orb Rainbow.
I work as a photographer, and photography is my hobby, and so I always take my camera wherever I go. And one day I looked outside, and this first one is a picture of my house. The little, it's from the side yard, and the little house right in the middle, that's the guest house where you guys can come and stay.
Cool.
Hey, there we go.
Sedona. And you'll see off to the right, there's Cathedral Rock.
That's what's poking up back there. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sitting in my house and I'm looking out at this because I have big clear story windows in my passive solar home, and I'm looking out at this cloud, and it is a complete circle around Cathedral Rock.
Oh, right, yeah, I can see that.
And then when I go outside to look at it, and I'm walking kind of up in elevation here, I see that it's got a double rainbow.
No way.
And so it looked like this big round circle that went out. So I took some photos, and if you can see in the photos very clearly, there are 4 orbs, and they're coming right out of the center.
Oh my God, I did not even notice that until just now.
And then if I could blow it up more, but there are more that are up in the clouds between the rainbows. But those 4 orbs, I took about 6 or 8 photos of this, and they're all in, they're all in different positions. It's not water. It's not rain. It did not rain. That's the thing. It hadn't been raining, but it could be. It could have rained.
So those same 4 orbs are.
This is something that's very typical. I believe that these are light ships. That's what I call them. Our human eye can see in certain frequencies.
Right.
But the ETs will, they know that. And so they'll vibrate at a higher frequency. They could be standing right next to you, and you'd never see them.
Oh, man.
But if you take a photograph, because of the way our cameras see more of the light spectrum, they'll get a signature. And so I believe that in this photo, there is probably a mothership that's behind the widest part of the cloud. And these are like scout ships, and they're coming down to check us out.
Well, I think it's interesting that the circle of clear sky is surrounding Cathedral Rock. I think that's pretty interesting. It looks, at least from this perspective.
Cathedral Rock is okay. So you heard of the GPS from the Rendlesham case that says, okay, so let me go back for the people that don't know. In December of 1980, in the Rendlesham Forest in England, on an American base, a UFO came down, and it was Christmas 1980. And these 2 airmen, Jim Peniston and John Burroughs, were ordered to go see what came down in the forest. And this thing happened, I guess, for several days. And it did turn into an abduction experience. Jim Peniston, disappeared for a day or something. But he came back. Jim came back, and he had written down 30 pages of ones and zeros.
Yeah, that binary code.
Long before computers. It's 1980. I mean, there were computers, but there weren't computers in your house.
Yeah, very few people knew about binary code at that point.
And they were trying to get them out. Remember, there was the first Apples and the what was that called? Com Speed or something. Anyway.
There was the Apple and there was the pumpkin. The pumpkin never made it. Nobody knows about the pumpkin.
Yeah.
The Compact and there was an IBM one that they came out with too. But yeah, they had the big giant floppy disk stuff. But anyway,
sorry, I had to make a funny.
Jim had this in his mind. And several years ago, I want to say probably 2002 or 3, he contacted Claude Swanson, who is, he's this genius guy. He wrote Synchronized Universe. And Claude deciphered it for him, and it pointed at what one section of this ones and zeros came out to be 7 different places in the world where there was a major portal where the craft were coming and going. And Sedona had that GPS coordinate.
Oh, wow.
And
I didn't realize that.
And that GPS coordinate is about, I want to say, a quarter mile away from the Cathedral Rock.
Wow.
Now think about this, though. When the Phoenix Lights happened,
yes,
it was first reported in Sedona.
Really?
Yeah, and it traveled down the I-17, got into Phoenix, and all those people saw it, and then it kind of went out into the desert and went up toward Las Vegas, and this happened twice. And so, there's a lot to the Phoenix Lights.
Were you able to witness that? Did you get to witness?
What my bottom line here is that coordinate is like the pinprick in the middle, but it's about, the portal is a couple of miles wide.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And so it just depends on what part of the tunnel they come out.
Yeah.
Back in Lemurian days, I did a meditation with this woman, Paige Bryant, way back in the day. And we were looking at remote viewing Sedona during Lemurian times, and we could see the UFOs coming out, and and they were huge, pyramid-shaped, or flat, or kind of cigar-shaped, and they were landing over at Airport Mesa.
Oh wow!
Where because it comes out, it's just a straight shot out of the portal, and for all we know, they're still landing up there because they're vibrating in a way that we cannot see.
So, Jocelyn, I think we had talked about the portal being around Cathedral Rock. Is that the same portal that we're talking about around that area?
Yes, that's the one.
Wow. Okay,
that's incredible.
The one that's directly over my head. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and that's the reason why I think I get a lot of UFO photos, which we'll see. Now let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
This one was taken at, this is Coffee Pot Rock and Thunder Mountain. And if you could see at the top, you'll see the ship going across the sky.
Uh-huh.
These were taken by Kim Carlsberg. I was over at her house. We had been doing some what we call psychic circle, and it's kind of like an Ouija type board type thing. And I was it kind of gave us instructions to go outside and look.
Ooh.
And Kim said, "I'm grabbing my camera." And so this is what we saw going across, and it was like they were just waiting for us to get there. And Kim had a motor on her camera, so it was actually pretty quick.
That's cool.
But you can see it. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is and
it looks
this
like
is right next to Thunder Mountain and Coffee Pot.
So it's almost like it wanted you to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It most definitely did. Like I said, Kim and I used to do an Ouija board kind of thing. It's not quite, but it spells out words. And Kim, his best friend is Daryl Anka in Los Angeles, and Daryl Anka is also known as Bashar. And they had studied meditation together. And I don't know if you know Bashar.
Bashar, isn't he a channeler?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I have.
So we were doing channeling
I have
together,
heard of
Kim
Bashar.
and I.
Uh-huh.
And so that's who Kim used to do it with, was Bashar. So when she was in Sedona, she did it with me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
okay.
awesome. Yeah,
All right.
the Coffee Pot is a great restaurant as well, by the way.
Right.
Me and Ben ate there the
is.
whole time we were there. Hey, wasn't there an old movie theater that the locals used to go to up on Coffee Pot Road?
It wasn't on Coffee Pot. It was on. I think it was on Soldiers Pass, or
Okay.
over there. But
Okay.
yeah, that was a long time ago.
One of the locals was telling us about
there used to be a white front there too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, one of the locals was telling us about a local movie theater that it was kind of just kind of the locals knew about it, and it was I guess I don't know if that's in that area or where you said it was. Is it near that area or is it away further somewhere else?
Here's the thing about Sedona. It's a really small town. So when you say further, do you mean a quarter mile as opposed to a mile? Or,
yeah, I mean,
everything is close.
Right. Yeah, that's understandable.
Everything's close. So I want to say probably a quarter mile from... Yeah,
I had heard you speaking to somebody else, and you were talking about an old John Wayne film, I think, and where the camera pans up and they catch a UFO in the shot.
Yes, and that happened right over Bell Rock, and that was in 1947. And that's kind of when they really discovered how much, there was a lot of flap going on in 1947 with Roswell, right?
Yeah.
And so, the cameraman is just sitting there, and in those days, they had to actually turn the film with their hand.
Yeah, definitely.
During filming, and he's turning and he's following everything with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hare. And then, you could hear the conversation and the lines being told, but the camera pans up and there is a UFO directly over Bell Rock.
How cool.
And it was like 3 or 4 minutes of this, and it kind of took off, and the editor of the film said that he'd never seen anything like this, and for a long time there was a timeshare office down there that played these old films, and they had a clip of this. But in 1987, it just disappeared.
Oh man, that's weird. And nobody knows where it went?
No.
Wow.
It was there one day, and the next day it wasn't. I was there probably in 88, and I had heard the story, and I went in there and I asked to see the clip, and they said, yeah, we don't know. We think somebody stole it.
How strange.
It's just gone.
You would think with all the movies that were shot out there, and like with Walt Disney, there's got to be a lot of interesting footage that just people have, because Sedona is was pretty popular back in the day, for movies and things like that, right?
Oh yeah, Elvis Presley bought a house on Verde Valley School Road, directly looking a side view of Cathedral Rock. His straight on, and to the right was Bell Rock and Courthouse, and to his left was a pyramid rock and the backside of Airport Mesa. He was up there on this hill and perfectly perched.
Huh.
And you say, why was he out there? It's because he filmed Stay Away Joe out at the Bradshaw Ranch.
Ooh.
And there were a lot of funny things that happened. And the only reason he insisted on they kept on saying, oh, no, you don't want to do Bradshaw Ranch. You could do any place else. You really don't want to. And he insisted because they had a phone out there. See, back in the day, there was no iPhone.
Yeah.
But this is when telephone first came out, and Elvis had to be next to his phone.
Oh,
he
yeah.
had to, he had to take those calls when they came in.
If anybody had a phone, it was Elvis, right?
Right. So, anyway, yeah. Let's go on to the third picture, and because when we get to the Bradshaw Ranch, I can really start talking about that.
Ooh, awesome.
But you had asked about Cathedral Rock. Now, this third one is a black and white photo. It's taken by my friend Peter Best, and he wanted to take some photos of the full moon. And I took him up to this place called Secret Mesa, which is right, as you can see, right in front of Cathedral Rock. You can't really see it because there's that odd light flare, lens flare.
Yeah, it looks like a satellite almost.
Right. And if you'll see that these lens flares don't really look like lens flares, they look like orbs.
Very strange.
But to the right, that big flare up, that is the full moon. And this was the only photo that really turned out like this. So I figured I would include it here.
That is a cool photo.
Really cool photo.
One, this is my husband standing at the gate, which is now the gate of Bradshaw Ranch. And Bradshaw Ranch has been taken over by Arizona State University, and they are creating a 90-acre GMO garden.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Really? Wow.
Which GMO, is creepy enough, but, look at, there's nothing out there. Who are they who are they making all that food for?
Yeah, it's almost like they're just gonna test things and see how it goes.
It's like you're gonna grow 90 acres worth of food and you're gonna just toss it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I bet we can ask.
Okay. So, Bradshaw Ranch is known for some pretty high strangeness. Now, about 3 weeks ago, I'll send you a link to this. Maybe you can also put it with your podcast. But there was a sighting of a convoy of 200 military vehicles.
Whoa.
That went through Sedona and down Dry Creek Ranch and disappeared.
Wow.
Now, if you look, they could have gone to different places. At the end of Dry Creek Road, you can go left and go to Bradshaw Ranch, or circle way around, horrible roads, dirt roads for 7 miles and get back on 89A. Or you can turn right and go into the Enchantment Resort.
Ah.
Now, if you think about the Enchantment Resort, it is a really high-end 5-star, 5-diamond. Hotel, and
I was there for my honeymoon.
That are,
nice.
I personally have seen Paul McCartney out there, and
Paul McCartney,
Mick Jagger.
You might have seen Joe Strelski out there.
Nicolas Cage, Hilary Swank, Barbra Streisand. So these are just the people that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because I was a very lazy tour guide. I knew that the best part of the vortex out at Boynton Canyon was at the Enchantment.
Uh-huh.
So I would take my clients there for tea, and we would sit outside where, they had this beautiful balcony that looked up into the Kachina Woman Hoodoo, and you had the beautiful outdoor piano player, and we would order our $7 cups of tea, and I would give them a reading. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that place is beautiful.
Anyway, so here it is. This is what it looks like now. You can see that it is a 10-foot fence, and it is, there's
like some cattle wire, some goat wire going around.
Yeah, it's padlocked, and at one point a few years ago, there were so many people that came on to the ranch that they pushed down a piece of the fence back here, and you just walked in, you just stepped over the fence and walked in. And but now you can't. And I do know of somebody who tried, who scaled the fence right here and started doing his Naruto run to the to the ranch house, or the I guess the ranch house is still partially there, but to the windmill. And by the time that he got up there, the Forest Service was there. They arrested him. And
so they had on-duty servicemen guarding this place?
This guy said he does, this is way out there. There's nothing out there. And, now they're planting some plants, and, they're watching. I understand they're going to build a dorm out there for the students that are studying these plants. And but this guy said that he was there kind of early in the morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning. There wasn't anybody around, and he drove over and parked his car, scaled the fence, and ran in. And these guys were on him so quick. He said, I have no idea where they came from.
Wow.
And they were 2 forest rangers.
Huh.
Wow.
And he was arrested. He got a $7,500 fine.
Ooh.
And he is, I think he spent 4 days in jail, and he cannot go into a national forest for the rest of his life.
Oh, bummer.
Banned for life.
Bummer.
From the forest.
Man, you shouldn't be able to ban anybody from...
Now, here's the thing about Bradshaw Ranch. They are there. They're there. You don't have to trespass. You can get right up to the fence line, and you can call them over.
Oh.
You can say, "This is as far as I can go." You know, you can get a little closer to the fence.
So what?
All right. So let's. Yeah.
I just wanted to say I'm extrapolating that these security guards, whoever they are less than normal. They're more than normal. They're it seems like they're very serious. It seems like they're aware of you before you even get there. It sounds almost like, analogous to the Area 51 kind of guards. Like, they know you're there and they will approach you and they will arrest you. Right. I just think that's something to note.
I think it's always pretty much been that way. For as long as I've been here and going out there, I went out there with Tom Dongo so many years ago, and he was telling me about how you would never want to mention the military base out there, and for sure never tell anybody about the earthquakes and the sound of I don't know if you ever seen those mold type tunnel makers, but they do have them. They are these laser big giant machines, and they get down and they can just make a tunnel.
Whoa, that's crazy! Kind of like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh yeah, the Air Force has them. You can see photos of them on the internet if you go look for the tunnel makers. But we never talk about the sound that they make and the people that hear these.
Wow, so you can just hear it from above ground?
You can, yeah. And there's been earthquakes out there. Now, if you look at a map, you can see that about 17, 18 miles west of Flagstaff is this place called Belmont, and it's like one of the largest military bases in Arizona. And if you can draw a straight line, straight due south, and end up at Bradshaw Ranch.
Whoa, that's crazy.
And there's been people who have gone out there hiking, and I remember some clients of mine, actually, I had taken them out there one day and did the whole tour of Bradshaw Ranch. And the next day, they wanted to go out on their own and hike deeper into Loy Canyon, which is the canyon right behind Bradshaw. And there's a lot of Indian petroglyphs and ruins, and the Hanaki, the heritage site, is out there.
Which you have photos that you sent us, and we'll get into that in a little later, right? I mean, there's some really... Sure. I've got a couple that I sent you here, but these women went back there, and they said that they came across like this cage, kind of, like what you would expect a dog run to be made out of, with that kind of fencing, and it was covered with tarps, and the tarps were very blended in. They were obviously, they didn't want anybody to find it, but this one lady she was a crack up, she just marched over there and ripped one of the tarps off, and she said there were all these silver boxes.
Uh-oh.
And as soon as she did that, she said she got the worst headache And in her mind, she heard, "Back up and leave now. Do not approach. Back up." And she had this huge, and she looked over at her friend, and her friend was practically crawling on the ground because her head was like really exploding.
Whoa, it's like side technology or something.
Yeah, and so they hiked out of there, and but they did call me after that and told me the story. So for anybody listening, if you want to go out there, the Bradshaw Ranch is not like Skinwalker Ranch, where it's more benevolent.
Benevolent.
And, it's very loving. It's helpful. It's not mean or aggressive in any way.
So it's the light side of Skinwalker Ranch, basically. It's the lighter side. It's a nicer.
Yes, I've never. I mean, I've had people have really interesting experiences and maybe some jokes pulled on them, but nothing has been, horrific and monster-like.
What do you think
Skinwalker.
What do you think these maybe some of these unsuspecting students that are going to have to stay out there and work on this?
I am so curious.
Yeah.
I'm just
Good question.
waiting for them to, go screaming out of there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, because they may have a dorm
It
room.
reminds me of the story of how Linda Bradshaw, when she first was building the house out there were weird things that were happening, and her and Bob were building this house, and it was in the, I want to say, early 80s. And she started noticing some pretty weird stuff right away. So she always had her camera. And there's something about Bradshaw Ranch that we say, take random photos often. But Linda started this is like she could feel them. She could, one time she said she could feel one kind of like snake-like, or just wrapping itself between her legs. While she was doing the dishes, like, oh, whoopee. Anyway, but she had been taking photos this one night, and when she developed the photos, she discovered that some entity picked up the camera and was taking photos of the entire interior of the house while she was asleep.
No.
And there's a photo of her sleeping in her bed.
Oh, that just gave me chills, dude. I have chills on my arms right now.
Taken out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so anyway, good luck to these students.
Seriously. Oh, can you imagine just having a bunch of selfies of you sleeping?
Yeah, seriously, on your phone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because back in those days, they didn't have, you could look at your photo as, you take it, and you can look at it, download it.
Man.
They would take photos, and they would only use slides. Well, slides were cheaper. But they would never know what they had until they would take it into Walgreens into the 1 hour processing and then take it home. And so it'd be like, the next night, 24 hours later, they're going through their slides and they're seeing what they have and don't have. And, it's not like when I first started going out there to Bradshaw Ranch and I was taking pictures, my old 6 meg digital camera, which 1.5 meg, which I thought was really great. I could still look at them, and I didn't know what they were, so I deleted a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh man!
That I am now just kicking myself because stuff like this, this next one. I called it Blood Moon. So if anybody's looking in the, this is an orange orb that went over Bradshaw Ranch.
Yeah, I see kind of a streak going across the sky there.
Yeah, and I took this with, kind of a time lapse.
Yeah.
And I did not see this when I took the time lapse. I was just trying to get the stars, as you can see, and there's the streak in it, in this one. I have a whole bunch of these, but this is the one that I have, this kind of weird streak, and this orb that shows up, it kind of looks like a heart. I don't know.
That's interesting, because especially with time lapse, because it's showing the
rotation.
The direction of all the stars, but this orb is in one spot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was pretty weird.
Meaning that it stayed in one place the whole throughout. I mean, relatively the same place, right? That orb at the top.
It was.
Yeah, but you didn't see it while you were out there.
I didn't see it with my eye at all.
Wow.
I didn't see it until I took the photo, and then I saw it on my camera.
Wow.
And I took probably 4 or 5 more photos of it, but this one came out the best.
Wow.
That's cool.
Okay, so are we skipping to the next one?
Okay, so then the next one is called the Blue Orb. And
he's almost got a face on him. He almost looks like he has a
that's
face.
one of the reasons why I shared him with you.
He looks happy.
I just love this guy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. He looks happy.
Yeah. Now, Linda Bradshaw was the first one in 1987 to start getting orbs in her photos, and they came from Bradshaw Ranch. And now there are orbs all over the world. So, just to kind of keep that in mind. Now, this is a blow-up. I was with Tanya Maddenford. Anybody that knows her, she's a movie producer, and she does a lot of films in Germany, but she did Stranger at the Pentagon is one of her films. And so I was with Tanya Maddenford and Kim Carlsberg. And Kim Carlsberg is author of The Art of Close Encounters. Sorry, The Art of Close Encounters, and Victoria Albright. And Victoria Albright, Ray Zaminsky just wrote a story about her called Victoria's Secret, and and she was. She's been a contactee and an experiencer for many, many years. So I'm with, and me. So there's the 4 of us, and
we're having a party.
We were doing Kim and I were doing the channeling, and we got a message, to go outside, and so we go outside, and Tanya is like almost speaking in tongues.
Wow.
And this, so I took a photo of them, and I saw this blue orb over her, and this is a blow up of that.
Wow. I mean, I all jokes aside, I mean, it looks like there's a face and a nose and a mouth, but I mean, the thing to realize, and I like to joke every now and then, but it does really look like there's a face in there. And that might just be the human, the frontal lobe kind of making patterns. But I mean, let's be real and talk. If there's any listener that's really new to this subject and doesn't really know about orbs, I mean, this is what I know. I mean, there's these entities, right? There's that could be alien, that could be transdimensional, that just kind of show up. And the best evidence are these photos, including the evidence that the Stan Romanek story, and you could look that up on Netflix. I'm sure you know about this, Jocelyn, but there's amazing footage of these orbs, these tiny little lights that coincidentally, most people can't see them with their naked eye, but it's only when they are photographed or videoed that they kind of show up. And
I think there's a couple of photos here of when I was out there. Lisa Romanek is one of my best friends.
Oh, okay.
So,
really? Awesome.
Yeah. So I did go out to Bradshaw Ranch with Stan and Lisa.
Cool.
And
All right.
I do have a photo of a bunch of orbs that came up that basically Lisa called them, and I think it's in this group. Let's go on.
Yeah.
And okay, so here we go back to the Bradshaw Ranch. I gave this to you because this has a really good layout of where you can go and watch for these things and where they have been sighted before. And you can see that there's a red path that goes all the way around Bradshaw Ranch, and there's been plenty of sightings and weird things happen right on that red path. But I did note on here where some of the people have camped before and had experiences, and where people have had Bigfoot sightings.
This is so amazing.
So
yeah, I mean, for those listening, we're looking at an aerial view where Jocelyn has geographically placed little markers, like a legend on a map of these places. I'm sorry, Jocelyn. I got so excited.
That's okay.
You.
I forgot that they're not looking at it.
I got so excited I interrupted you.
Use your imagination.
But if you're looking at this while we're talking about it, it's such an incredible. Jocelyn, this is so incredibly awesome that you did this. This is awesome. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, I just, want to warn anybody that goes out there, you have to have a 4-wheel drive. They are, I thought that they would smooth the road out a little bit more for the students that are going out there, but apparently they're bringing them in by helicopter.
Oh,
so,
black helicopters?
They don't care about the roads.
Man.
I had a friend that went out there recently and broke an axle.
Oh, no. Well, they
Yeah.
probably do that to keep people from going out there in the first place.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Whew.
All right, so we'll go on. Now this is standing up on the mesa that's above Bradshaw Ranch, and we're looking down into the actual ranch in the bottom of Loy Canyon. And this is the way that it looked for many years. It does not look like that now. I'm not sure. Then right in the middle is the Bradshaw Ranch house. I believe that they're knocking that down to build the dormitory.
Oh, man. Okay.
And the back buildings back there with the corrals, those are already all gone, and that area has been plowed up. Again, they're building this huge garden. They're growing all this food out there, and you just have to wonder what their plans are.
Yeah.
So this is the University of Arizona?
Right.
Is that who this is?
Pardon me?
This
is Bradshaw Ranch.
Right, but the people that are building out there, is that University of Arizona?
This is ASU, Arizona State University,
okay.
Flagstaff.
Arizona State, okay.
I want to also, let's put an asterisk on this, that ASU is the only university in the United States that has every pathogen in its lab.
Oh, yeah, like anthrax and all the...
And so this, the campus in Flagstaff is always on high alert.
Yeah, they have like a National Guard out there, right?
One of those pathogens gets out.
Yeah, that's no good.
Some sort of anthrax or something. they can put that entire area on lockdown. If you ever drive up there and go visit the campus, you will see that there are 12-foot steel fence around the entire campus.
Wow.
So they're maybe not keeping something in; they're keeping people out.
Yeah, you know, it's just dicey. You know, you just don't know. And but of course they are studying this. This campus is well known for its biology department.
Yeah.
I just find that their purchase of Bradshaw Ranch to be an interesting one.
Yeah. It's also weird that you would put college kids in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Like trust a bunch of college kids. Because I know as a college kid, I mean, I wouldn't have trusted me with any kind of pathogen whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think you have to be working on your doctorate degree to have any access to them. But,
Good.
Yeah.
Well, the reality is that it could be anything, right? Let's be practical. I mean, I personally want to think that there's something weird going on. But it could also be possible that there's some kind of biological thing that they don't want the public to look at or see or report on. It could be anything. That's why this podcast is so fun, because we could actually contact these people and see, like, hey, well, what's the public thing?
Yeah, what are you guys?
People?
Yeah, what are you guys up to over
and
there?
then we can extrapolate, right? And then we can call you back, Jocelyn, and tell you what we found.
That's right. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to the next one, where it's called Bradshaw 56.
Yes.
This is a photo that I took with Lisa Romanek. I put in, I had a camera with 12 exposures of infrared film. And this one came out, and you could see that there's a triangular shaped craft that is going overhead. Now, Lisa told me that she was going to send me the photo that she took with her with her camera, but she never did. But her camera showed a kind of a delta-shaped, I want to say it looked like a cloud of some sort.
Oh.
And but this was probably 7:00 at night, and it was freezing cold out there. And that's another thing about going out there to Bradshaw Ranch during certain times. You can go out there, and there'll be a hot wind like you would not believe. And there'll be other times you'll be out there and the temperature will drop to like 17 degrees. And, it does get cold in the desert at night. But, I mean, this was extreme, and it happened often. And this was one of the times that this happened. And all I want, right before we took these photos, I thought Stan was being a big sissy. He's tired, and he's grumpy, and he wants to go get a margarita.
Give the guy a break, though, right?
That sounds like me. That sounds like me every day at 4:00.
No, he does not want to chase UFOs. Okay,
I bet not.
Sounds like they want to chase him.
Done that. And, I'm with Kim and Lisa, and I think Victoria was there. And they had twin daughters. And I think they were still in high school. Beautiful, beautiful girls. And they were with us. And so, it was sort of like Stan and all these women. And, but anyway, when I took this photo for about 10 minutes, I got so disoriented. I did not know which way was up. I had to sit down right in the dirt. And,
it's kind of like temporary vertigo.
What's wrong? And it's like, I don't know. It was like my internal gyroscope had been turned upside down. I think I would have only been happy if I were standing on my head, honest to God.
Man.
And, so that's the story that goes with this. As it went over, I got completely disoriented.
Whoa.
And that is something that is pretty common out there, that people will go out. This is another reason why I say is like, you go out to Bradshaw Ranch, go with somebody. Don't go by yourself.
Oh, definitely.
There's too many things that happen. There's one time that I was out there with Kim, and Kim and I used to do the Vortex tour together and the Night Sky Watch together, because you don't go out there by yourself, even with clients. But we were with our clients, and I decided to walk that fence line and take some photos while Kim was talking about the history and, the same thing that you have to be like a broken record of, how the government got it by just saying, yeah, you either sell it to us or we're going to take it. So,
come and take
we're going to take it or we're going to take it. So anyway, she was doing that, and I walked along the fence. I took these photos. I came back, and when I got back, Kim is, this Irish woman, and she has a temper. And she shook her finger at me, and she said, "Don't you ever do that again." And I was like, what?
Oh, no.
She says, "You've been gone for 2 hours."
Whoa. No.
I said, "I've been gone for 20 minutes. She said, "No, I was just about to call the sheriff."
Whoa.
We had looked everywhere for you, and,
wow, so you had missing time.
So that happened. And there was another time that we had gone out, and I kind of jumped over the fence and was walking toward the house. And I came back to the road, and I was walking toward the front gate, and Kim was about, I want to say, 8 feet away from me, and I said, "Hey, Kim, grab me some water." And she acted like she didn't even hear me, and I was just sort of annoyed. So I came around and, climbed over the front fence and walked toward the car, and I'm talking, and she is just, she's just talking over me, and she's just acting like I'm not there. And then I'm getting pissed off at her. I'm about to reach for this water, and Kim, is looking over toward the house and says, "Now, what happened to Jocelyn?" And I said, "I'm right here." And she says, "Anybody see Jocelyn?" And I'm going like, "I'm right here. And I realized that she couldn't see me.
Whoa.
So I had to retrace all my steps and go back exactly the way I went, cross over the fence, right where I crossed over the fence. And as soon as I crossed back over the fence, she goes, "Oh, there you are. Help me carry this stuff in."
No way.
Wow. So what made you think to do that, to retrace your steps? I mean, most people would be
freaking out. They'd be lost forever.
I've heard these stories before. That's why.
Oh, wow. Man. So she couldn't see you at all. You just basically disappeared.
She didn't see me. I had slipped through, I was like in a parallel dimension or something.
Yeah, wow. Sounds like it. I mean, that's not the first story I've heard of that happening, where somebody slips in just randomly. There was a story that happened about maybe 10 years ago. It was all over the internet, at least in my news feed. This guy was fixing his faucet under his sink and kind of slipped in and found himself on a beach and found himself 20 years in the future.
Right,
Did you
right.
hear
Yeah,
about this
he
story?
took a picture.
Yeah, he took a picture. There's a picture on the internet.
He took a picture with himself, and they both have the same tattoos.
And I don't know if this was a fraud. I haven't really looked into it in 10 years. This is the first time I heard of it. But I mean, that's another notable thing. Like there seems to be some kind of slippage that happens in certain spots that people purposely do it. Some people just don't know what's happening, and maybe there's some vortex that happens in a 3-dimensional space that it just happens so randomly that it just so happens to be underneath a guy's kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And it kind of makes you wonder too, like how many times a day do you walk around and you go into this, this other dimension of some sort, or you slide somewhere else. On a daily basis, and we just never think about it, or we never even notice it.
Or it's a manifestation of a reality that's so close to ours, we slipped into it, and it's so similar that there's little tiny changes, like the Mandela effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might be stretching the film here, but anyway, I think that's interesting to talk about. But yeah, so Jocelyn, we have some photos of some cave paintings, and then there's one photo that I want to get to. There's actually two photos. That
well, then let's hurry up and go through these really quickly.
Okay.
The next one is called Bradshaw Man.
Yes.
And this is a photo that I took with Lisa Romanek. And off to the right, I don't know if you can see that there's a kind of a weird gray creature, and in the middle of the orbs.
Oh, right.
Oh,
right off to the
interesting.
I see, like right above the tree line a little bit.
Yes.
Up in the corner next to that big orb. Yes. I do see that.
That's it. Okay, so now we'll go on. Now this is at Woo Ranch, and the Native Americans talked about the flying shields. That's what they called them, the UFOs, and that these creatures came out, and they called them lizard people, and they had a tail. And on the right-hand side, there's a depiction of how they would run with all fours.
Oh, on the next next photo.
Yeah, I see
wow.
that. Yeah,
see the forearms are down and their
and
hind
that
legs
is
are extended like a frog.
I have some more photos. When you guys come, I'm going to take you to this spot. It's pretty. It's like a high energy spot. The next picture is actually walking into this area that has all the petroglyphs, and you'll see that those petroglyphs up on the upper left.
And we're looking at Code Ward 11 right now.
Card Woo Art 11, yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Like that looks so cool.
So in the middle of them, you can see that they came from the Milky Way. There is like this wavy line.
Oh, wow.
And that means Milky Way. We were like ants to them. This is the Native American talk of, they were huge giants, and you can see that they were like could fit in the palm of their hand.
Yeah.
They were so huge. They were giants. And there's a tall white. There's some handprints about in the middle.
Yeah, we can see that.
On the left. Yeah. And then right above the handprints, you'll see that there's some tall whites.
That's so cool.
And they talk about how they came out of their ship, and they were just these really, really tall white beings.
Wow.
And that they were friendly. That's what the hands mean. They were friendly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Dang, wow. Huh.
Okay. All right. So we'll go on. Now, this is also in that same canyon of Woo Ranch. This is the bell-shaped craft that came down, and you can see the tall white. And here are the little red people that are down and around at their feet. You can see how small they were in comparison to this tall white that came.
Absolutely.
And is that supposed to represent humans?
It's hard to see, but below that and to the right, there's a red man who is hugging this tall white creature.
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah. Wow. And so is that supposed to be humans, the red ones?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow, they look like little children compared to the tall white. Now, obviously, the white is depicted with white pigment. There's obviously like a difference between the red pigment, Jesus, and then the white pigment. That's right. really interesting.
And this is where the Native Americans, this Bell craft landed, and the Native Americans went out there to see it, and there was that tall white there. But that Bell craft reminds me a lot of the Adamski kind of
right.
Oh yeah.
Craft.
Oh,
So
wow,
all right, so we'll go on. That is a photo of it coming in, and I don't know if you can see on the upper right. There are some little small gray dots, and that was the best photo that I could get of them. But they were not birds, not bats, not insects. They were flying around the entire time that I was there taking these photos.
Yeah, they're very faint. Yeah. They're very faint, but if you zoom in,
and I could see them with my naked eye, but they didn't really come out. There was about 6 of them. And they just kept on going back and forth over this canyon. But that's what the canyon looks like, and the right up to the left is where the photos that we were just looking at.
Yeah. You can even see one up to the left too.
And here's another shot of the white, the tall white, and the hands.
Right, and we're going on to the next photo, looking at another cave.
And if you can see, I think I took this photo because there's like hands underneath. They're kind of like layered, like stacked.
Yeah.
And these were all the people that when I went out with this guy named Redfeather, Mikey Redfeather, and he was an old man when he took me out there, probably in his 80s. And so he told me a lot of the stories, and he passed away shortly after I took these photos. So,
wow, man.
But I think he told me more than he would have told more people, because it's like, what else is he going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a question for you. I have a question.
There it is. All right. The next photo is again. You can see that the orbs come down, and they're all the way down into the trees.
Oh, yeah.
This was taken about 4:00 in the afternoon. Wow. And remember I told you earlier that there were these craft that just kept on going back and forth in the canyon there. This is another day. But I saw them again, and they were coming right down into the trees, as you can see on the right-hand side.
Wow. Yes. You can see them. They're all up in the sky, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe, like right there in the trees, like coming down.
Right.
Wow, that's cool.
Right. They're not stars. They're not.
Yeah. 4:00 in the afternoon.
I saw them with my naked eye. They look silver to me in the like little silver dots. All right, so the next one is called Earth Circle, and this is Kim Carlsberg, Tanya Mattenford, and Victoria Albright again. And this is the creek right next to my house. As you can see, it was winter, and it was very cold that day, but we had done a meditation, and we decided to go down to the creek. And I decided, I'll just snap a photo or two. I didn't look at these for probably 2 weeks until after they were gone. And I saw this photo.
Wow.
And I realize that there is, lens flares and all of that. But this seems to go beyond the keen. If you look at all of these orbs, they all have faces in them, like that previous.
Yeah.
So for people listening, we're looking at a photo. It looks like a forest of some sort. There's dead leaves on the ground. There's 3 women in what looks like robes or some kind of flowy jacket.
It was so cold that before we walked down to the creek, which is, just about 300 feet from my house, we went into the car, and I pulled out, I had a couple of blankets in my car. And so they put these blankets around them. I did not realize they were going to look like 3 priestesses, having some sort of ceremony down there.
That's what me and Ben said.
That was the story. And Tanya Maddenford is on the left. We're looking at the back of Kim Carlsberg, and Victoria Albright is on the right.
Wow.
And then there's this halo, this rainbow halo encircling all 3 of these women. And not a full rainbow. It's like this ultraviolet kind of blue, then purple, then yellow, then orange, and then back to purple, violet, and then back to yellow, and then orange. It's this really beautiful little ring. Who's to say what that is? I certainly can't say if that's a typical lens flare. It certainly looks pretty perfect. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Some sort of energy surrounding you guys. You guys meditated down there. I mean, who knows? But that's incredible.
A little circle of kind of protection or something. I don't know. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah, when I first looked at this, I couldn't stop looking at it. But these are all experiencers. They're all very powerful women, and so and it's in a vortex. Is it right below the portal? It's just straight behind them would be the center of the GPS coordinate. I want to say about a quarter mile. So, it definitely looks like they're being embraced to me.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Absolutely.
Embraced. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is...
this is interesting. So we're looking at...
Okay, so of course, my whole family sees them, and we had an experience. My daughter was going to school at Verde Valley School, which is a boarding school, high school, and it's just directly across the creek from us. And so she had an experience over there at the end of Verde Valley School. Road was made for Verde Valley School, which she was going to, and she had this experience. And I asked, she said that, she had this impression in her head. And I said, well, she could draw very well ever since she was a tiny baby. And I said, well, why don't you draw a picture of what you saw? And this is what she drew. And this is when she was in high school. So this is probably 10 years ago.
Wow, this is very, very detailed. And what we're looking at, it looks like a typical tall white or tall gray. And there's like reflection in the eyes. There's such detail. Like it's a really good illustration.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, this is my daughter's rendering of one of the beings that came into her bedroom when she was staying at Verde Valley School.
Wow. That's insane.
Okay, the next one is, this is a photo of 2 original photos that are dated 1961. And this is a woman that lives here in Sedona, and she was really old, and they were moving her into a assisted living down in Cottonwood, 20 miles away. And she asked, one of her neighbors was helping her move out, and he contacted me, and he said, well, I see on Facebook that you post a lot about UFOs, and I have all these boxes of UFO stuff, and would you like to have it?
What? Oh, that's cool. What? Yeah, score.
Yes.
So in this box, I was going through these books that she had given me, and these photos just fell out. And they are original photos. I have photos of the backside of them. I also have the negatives.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know when these were taken. I don't know anything about them. I only know that they came from a really old lady in Sedona that has been following UFOs and has come to Sedona to watch the portals or what have you. She definitely had some sort of experience.
That's incredible.
If you're listening and are following along in this photo file folder, it's called Jocelyn Sedona Image 0. What we're looking at, just for people that are listening, driving on their way to work or home from work, we're looking at the most clear photo of a flying saucer that I've ever seen.
It looks insane. It looks kind of like stuff that you would see, like the friendship case,
right?
Yes, exactly. Something like that. Yeah. Some of those photos and videos that they have, with the friendship case, and that's incredible.
Which we need to do an episode over.
Yeah,
so absolutely. Jocelyn, if you know anything about the friendship case, we'll get back on.
Yeah. Okay, so the next photo, I wanted to use this because this is the illustration of how I feel when I'm at Bradshaw Ranch. This is the energy that if I were to tell you what it felt like, it would be you would feel like you were standing in the middle of this.
Wow.
And I had this illustration in a poster posted on my a wall where I worked in my office. I used to have an office right across the street from Whole Foods in West Sedona, and I had a huge poster. I shared the room with Liz Alpert, and Liz Alpert is Richard Alpert's niece. Which most people know him as Ram Dass. And
I was going to say, I thought I knew that name.
And Liz Alpert does these incredible paintings, and she also does jewelry. So she rented out half of the office, and I shared it with her, and we would both come in and just stare at this. It seems to turn something on inside.
Wow.
But like I said, I only included this because I want you to know that this is the way that a vortex feels. This is the way the portals feel.
Yeah,
it's
right.
just an illustration, and it goes out for many miles.
Right.
Matter of fact, there's a similar illustration that's really popular in Hawaii. And the Hawaiians believe that they came from Sedona.
Ooh.
Wow.
Interesting.
And I've been told that by a kahuna, and his big spiritual guys while he was in meditation. Yes, we are connected to Sedona because that's where we crawled out of the earth from.
Oh, wow.
It was Boynton Canyon.
It might have had a different name back then, but yeah, I mean,
Well, it was called... It was called the red area, basically to the south.
Yeah.
But the original name is Luanda, which is named for the giant snake that used to protect the area here.
Wow,
okay, so here's Jocelyn images number 2,
yes.
And we see a UFO that is emerging from the cloud.
I mean, come on.
This is a photo that I had several photos of, but I just blew up the thing that I thought was interesting. And I was with a woman who is highly intuitive, and she says, I keep seeing an orca whale. And, in my mind, this orca whale. Yeah. And I said, oh, really? So I started snapping photos because the clouds, it was just the air. The air just seems like it was full of energy and weirdness. And so that's another UFO that was seen right over Bradshaw Ranch.
Man, it looks like it has like a blue beam coming out of the bottom of it.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah, that's really
and it does kind of look like an orca whale.
It does.
It really does look like an orca with like a blue beam coming out of the bottom of it. Yeah. That's incredible. Wow.
Okay, so the Jocelyn image is number 3. This is Stephen Bassett, and you can see that we dressed him up as a man in black.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we were going to ask him, is that a real man in black?
This is the old gate. As you can see, it's posted, no trespassing, and, all of that. And then just at the end of this wood gate, it was all pushed down, and you can just step over it and walk on. The story that goes with this is that sometimes Kim and I would go out to Bradshaw Ranch and we would find these random things. They were the most random things that you could ever think of, but we always picked them up and threw them into the car. And then later, they came in handy. So the random thing that happened is that we were going out there. We were going to show Stephen Bassett, and Kim had an idea to dress Stephen Bassett as a man in black. We had everything, but we did not have a black fedora. And, we even stopped at a couple of thrift stores, couldn't find anything. And so Kim said, oh, that's okay. We'll just take a photo of him. And I swear to God that as we're driving into Bradshaw Ranch and we're coming down that steep road, a black fedora is blown across the road in front of us. And Kim said, there's my hat. And she tops the car, she jumps out, she grabs it, and as you can see, it's like brand spanking new.
That's insane.
And so we got our black fedora. And there was another time that we had gone out there and I saw something shiny in the street, and we're headed out there. We've got clients in the car. I just stop, and I get out there and there's a brand new wrench. It's brand new. And it almost looks like it still has bubble wrap around it or something. I don't know, it's a brand spanking new wrench. And I okay, so I just throw it into the car. We have a wonderful tour, and then we go, and it's late, and it's dark, and our batteries are low, and so everything is dim. And the back of the car, the hatch won't open.
Wow.
And one client said, if I only had a wrench, I can open it for you.
No way. So, everything you guys found was, for a purpose. That's, wow.
So these weird things would happen. So that's Steve Bassett with the hat we found.
That's crazy that hat just blew across the road.
This is a couple more photos of the blow-ups. And you can see that there's a couple, I circled a couple of UFOs that were like the one that came out from behind the cloud. But that's what it looked.
The two orbs.
Those that are circled. That's what it looked like before this one came out of the cloud on the right. They just look like little black and white. So the people that aren't seeing this is a huge cloud, and it's got these round round things that almost look like googly eyes or something.
Man, yeah.
And but within a few moments, when they came out, they looked a lot like this banana-shaped or orca well-shaped black and white UFO.
Wow.
And don't think I included the photo. They didn't come out very good anyway.
Man, but that
came
looks
out great to me.
super cool.
Yeah.
So it came out from behind the clouds?
Sedona Jocelyn images number 5. This is simply a UFO that was going over my house. I was taking photos of the chemtrails.
Okay, yeah. I see the chemtrail in the background. I see a very dark. It looks, like a very typical flying saucer shape. It looks small from this photo, but...
Well, it was a I didn't even see it until I downloaded the photo. And I've enlarged just that part because I wanted to see what that was.
Yeah.
And it's not a plane, helicopter, bird, bat, insect. It is, a classic-looking hat-shaped UFO.
I didn't want to say hat, but I'm glad you did because it does look like a hat.
Yeah, sombrero. The sombrero style.
Yeah, it does look like a hat.
Okay, the next one is Sedona images number 6.
That's such a. I want to make that.
It's like the weirdest thing I ever saw.
It's the most beautiful photo. I want this to be my background.
It was sent to me by a client who had taken a helicopter tour. They had sat through one of those 90-minute timeshare presentations so they could get their free helicopter tour of Sedona, which you can do. Anybody that wants to come here, you want free prizes. You can always sit through a 90-minute tour of the timeshares. And off to the right, that's called the Elephant Rock. You can see that it's got a thumb that sticks up. And so right behind this is Bell Rock, Courthouse Rock, and the big wide rainbow that you see coming straight down would be like around the Chapel of the Holy Cross. So, and that area. But anyway, I just thought this was very interesting. It is
it's
called
a beautiful photo.
It's red rocks with snow on it, which is always fun. But it's got these huge
Aurora Borealis.
Looks like
which is indicative of
kind of rainbows that come down in columns.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That looks.
Well, what happens with Aurora Borealis? Jesus, Aurora Borealis is there's a magnetic effect. That's why it becomes these crazy colors, and you would not expect this to happen in Sedona. Like, what?
But since it's highly magnetic, then I guess
so. There's some scientific validity to that. There you go.
Yeah, so that was pretty fun. All right, so the next one, Sedona images, number 7. This is a photo of a UFO that I took that was directly over Cathedral Rock. And I took this from my backyard.
That's, oh my gosh. I was going to ask where you took it. I mean, that's insane. That's like the prototypical flying saucer shape. It's just perfect. I think that's amazing.
And, the weird thing about it is, like, I'm sitting in my backyard, I'm reading a book, and I'm just enjoying the day, and I get this thought, go get your camera and take a photo of the sky.
Wow. So
I did.
That interests me so much, Jocelyn. Like, and I'm not an intuitive. I mean, obviously you are, and some of your friends that have captured these photos. You don't have to answer this now, but I think that's very special. Like, a lot of people that, aren't interested in this subject will listen to this and think, they'll just kind of brush it off, But I think there is...
but you know what? I have noticed that people that have experienced UFOs, have seen them,
they
get an intuitive hit. I if I just go outside and look up, it's going to be there.
Right.
Because I can feel them looking at me, kind of thing.
Right.
And I think that, in a quiet moment that Ben and Joe also get moments like that. Where you just, I think there's something going on.
A couple of episodes ago, I kind of revealed to Joe that I had this really weird dream. And ever since, I've never had this experience before, but I awoke from a dream and had this really strong feeling to go outside. And I told Joe this and our listeners in a couple episodes ago that I really had this something was telling me go outside, but I was so terrified that I did not do it because it was like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 3:00 seems to be like the magic moment for some reason. AM.
But dude, if I could go back, I would do it in a heartbeat. I mean, you never know what you're gonna wake up, what vibe you're gonna wake up into. But I mean, I've got to know. It's like the strongest feeling, and I can't explain it what it was. But I guess I'm just trying to relate to you, Jocelyn, and maybe it's my experiences were a little different than yours, but that's the closest I've ever gotten to something that was it didn't feel like my conscience, and it didn't feel like a residual dream. It was like, hey, you need to go outside. We're waiting on you, dude.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but sometimes even if you don't go outside, you still have the experience because they say, yeah, I insist.
Yeah.
and then you have missing time. I would, when you come here to visit, I'll regress you. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Oh,
okay?
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I would love to be regressed.
This, number 8, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is just the sign that is now at Bradshaw Ranch saying that, oh yeah, don't worry about us. We're just doing an experimental garden. Don't worry about the 90 acres of food we're growing here. Don't worry. We got it. We got it.
Yes. I love
it. If you want to learn more, go visit our website. So that's the sign now that has replaced the "Do Not Enter Danger." This is just another blow up of that. The next one, image is number 9. That's just another blow up of the one that we had seen 2 photos ago.
The hat shape.
Yeah, and I just made it a little bit larger so that you could see. Image is number 10. I was outside doing gardening, and it was a very hot and humid day. And all of a sudden, the sky was like black and white TV, except for this one piece where it looked orange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
like
so I went to go, knowing that I live in the portal, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, here's somebody slowing down, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Slowing down, I like that.
Look at that ship. So I didn't see the ship until, again, I took the photo. I was taking the photo of the pink part of the sky. And when I downloaded it, I saw this. So again, this is taken right from my backyard.
Man, you have an awesome backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so images number 11. This is one that I got from Tom Dongo, and you'll see that it is really hard to see, but there's a V pie-shaped craft that is blocking out the red rocks at the bottom.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it's like a vertical cloud.
Yeah, it is. You would think that there was some sort of space between, one rock and the other. But no, that is something that is laying on top of that rock, a very pie-shaped UFO.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I noticed about the Native Americans around here is that they just use the term flying disc, but it's hardly ever a disc. It could be a cigar shaped, or this pie shaped, or a delta shaped, or a square, or lately I've been hearing about cubes with spheres in the middle.
Yes, yeah.
They still all call them flying disc.
Oh, interesting.
So it's
like UFO for us.
It's sort of like Kleenex for tissue.
Or Band-Aid.
So anyway, this is a picture of one of the, this was sent to me by a client. The next one, this is me taking a picture of Kim taking a picture because she said, "Oh my God, there's an explosion behind me. There's some sort of explosion that happened behind me." And I said, okay. So she went to go take a photo, and I took a photo of her taking a photo of this explosion that she physically felt. She said that it felt like something that had been reverberating through her body. And this was taken right at the front gate of Bradshaw Ranch.
Yeah, there's stuff all over the place.
What makes that in a regular photo? I mean, it looks like there's flash going on. It doesn't look like the shutter rate is being too long exposed. I mean, what other thing makes these anomalies? How else can you explain it? That's what I'm getting at.
Exactly.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, and I had a guy, he went out there one time with me as a skeptic of Bradshaw Ranch, and he kept on picking up pieces of dirt and throwing them up and, taking a photo of it. And I said, yeah, you'll probably get orbs or pictures of dirt that way. But look at these. I mean, some of them have faces. Some of them are different shapes. They're all different colors. And like Ken said, I did not witness this feeling of something that reverberated through her, but she felt like she said that her whole body was just shaking. It was like somebody picked her up and just shook her like a rag doll. And so she turned around and took a photo.
Wow.
Anyway, again, another weird thing that happened at Bradshaw Ranch.
So we're looking at 13 now?
Yes. This is one that I got from Tondongo. It's I don't know what it is.
It's like the birth
but
of a
it
star.
Was taken at Bradshaw Ranch, and I had been out there the night before, and he, and I called him up and I said, "Oh, Tom, you'll never guess. We were out there, and a client had some weird missing time. Oh, I know." This is the time that Kim and I had taken the clients out there. We did a night vision tour. We watched the UFOs. We took a lot of photos of weirdness that happened at Bradshaw Ranch. But right when we were going to go, Kim got sight of Big Girl, who is the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot that lives out there.
Whoa.
And so so Kim was hesitant to go. She's got some really love for this big cuddly thing, and I it's like the rest of us wanted to go and get our margarita, get our Mexican food before all of the places closed for dinner, and so we get in the car and we're driving. And we're driving, and we're driving, and we're driving. To get from
sounds like
Sedona, from West Sedona out to Bradshaw Ranch is about 20 minutes. And it was over an hour.
Oh, wow.
And finally, and Kim and I were trying to, we're trying to be really, really cool. We're not gonna scare the clients at all. That something really paranormal is happening right now. So we're chatting in the front, and we're talking about how great the day was, and I'm collecting money, which is always fun. And finally, the woman in the back seat leaned forward. Her name's Gloria, and she grabbed my arm and she said, "Okay, I've seen that tree 3 times already now.
No way.
What is going on?" And so Kim slammed on the brakes. She pulled over her shiny red Jeep, and she gets out and she said, "Big girl, we gotta go home."
Big girl.
And, what do you want? What's going on? And I swear to God, all 4 of us fell to sleep.
What?
We just fell asleep.
Wow.
And it was like maybe 5 minutes, but then we all woke up. We got into the car, we buckled our seat belts, and we drove silently to the restaurant.
Wow. Whoa. That's crazy.
Whoa. So I'm seeing this photo, and I'm seeing the Big Dipper in this photo, and I'm seeing like this almost. I mean, that's what a portal would look like. I mean, if I were to depict it, and there's this beam going through, is this possibly the entity or whatever that was communicating with you guys?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I mean, we had this experience. I called up Tom, and Tom said, "Oh, well, wait till you see the photo that my client took when we were out there last night."
Oh, my gosh.
And I said, "Oh, okay, send it to me." And this is what he sent.
Wow.
This is something. Okay, so again, number 14, this is another blow up of that same one that I had sent you before.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go past number 14.
Sure.
It's the same UFO that I saw before. I was trying to get where you could kind of see that it was a George Adamski kind of photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right.
And it looks like it's changed shapes a bit. It looks like it's almost like a pistol looking shape.
Yeah, they kind of morph as you look at them. You see one thing, and then they kind of morph into another.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
It's like, oh no, that's not what we look like, really.
Right.
We look like this. And so you get all these different witnesses, and they're all seeing something different. And then the researchers say, "Oh yeah, you're all nuts. You didn't see anything."
Well, that's something that we've talked about.
All right, so Sedona Jocelyn Images number 15. This is a photo of Tom Dongo, and he this is that same second night after Kim and I had the weird experience, and this is one of the photos that his client, along with that other one, gave. That she took a photo of Tom that was just looking up at the moon.
Yeah, they look similar. That little image,
right.
Yeah.
And
wow, that's cool.
Images number 16. This is another one of Tom Dongo's, of him one time when he was out at Bradshaw Ranch. This is what they caught.
Man.
Wow.
That's crazy because
That's
you
really
can't
cool.
even explain like what it is.
Yeah.
Or what it could
something
be.
that moves that fast within that shutter speed. I mean, when you're capturing photos with a long exposure, light tends to create a design. But I mean, if you look back at 15, the man in the photo is standing still. He would have to stay so still
For a long time.
for a really long time to get that long exposure. effect. I'm backtracking just to 15 for a second.
Yeah. That was just a flash photo snapped.
Yeah. So that thing's got to be moving so fast.
Here's what you do at Bradshaw Ranch. When you're out there, you take random photos often. And she just decided to take a random photo of Tom looking up at the moon, and that's what she got.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So 16 it looks like it's, so moving on to 16, there's no person in the photo. There seems to be some kind of lettering at the bottom, like respect or something, or I don't know if that's... he puts that on so that you know that belongs to him. Robert.
Okay, so kind of like don't respect my right, my copyright of this photo,
like a watermark.
This belongs to Tom Dongo, and this is a photo. You can see the ridge line kind of underneath. This, whatever it is pretty close to him, and he's standing on the front porch of Bradshaw Ranch, looking out towards Sedona. And this is what he got.
Wow.
That's cool.
Well, whatever is there is obviously aware of your presence, and, so many people can say, "Oh, that's a bug." I have a hard time believing that when there's a human and there's light reflecting off of him. I mean, I'm not an expert in camera and camera lenses and light and all that stuff.
Right.
But I look at this stuff and it's really just, I can't explain it. So that's where I want to leave it. It's just, you can't explain that. And I'm not looking at it as a debunker at all. Like, if personally, this is something that we just can't explain, and that's fine. That's kind of my standpoint at it. I mean, look at this little orb just kind of moving through space, and it's got to be moving so fast for it to create this trajectory, right? I mean, is that way off, or is that kind of correct as far as like the object has to be moving super, super fast within the time that the camera...
one frame.
Yeah, one frame. Hey, Jocelyn, you still with us?
Oh, I'm here. I was just enjoying listening to you guys. Did you guys see anything weird when you were here?
Oh, Joe, take it off, dude.
Yeah, we did. So we went out to Cathedral Rock. We were standing outside of our hotel, and me and Ben, we were just kind of going over some stuff, for a podcast that we were gonna do, and we kind of had this weird feeling that, dude, we should go out and just look for a while.
We went on our balcony of our little hotel room. And Joe was like, "Man, the stars are really twinkling at us." And I said, "Dude, you're totally right. I've never seen, like, all of the stars were twinkling at us. It was like they were speaking to us. Come hang out with us." And I mean,
they were twinkling, all right.
Yeah, and it was so weird. I've never experienced that. And I looked at Joe, and Joe was like, "We need to go out." And I was like, "Dude, you're totally right. Let's get out of here. Let's go." And we went out to Cathedral Rock around, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, it was about 9 o'clock at night. We went out there, and, we kind of stood there, and we looked up at the sky, and, we were chit-chatting back and forth, and, it was probably, maybe about an hour or so, and we were getting ready to kind of pack up and leave. We just enjoyed the experience of being able to go out to a place like that and just look at the sky, be able to, like, kind of, see the Milky Way. And, we were hoping maybe, we would see something. And, at first we didn't. And it was almost like as soon as we let our guard down to kind of pack up and leave,
right,
all of a sudden we saw a light. And it was real faint at first, but it was moving, and we kind of looked at each other and we were like, "Oh, hey, take a look at that." And all of a sudden, this light, it got super bright. It got super bright in the sky, and then it kind of shut off. and then it came back and got super bright again, and it started moving, horizontal, like towards, like basically behind Cathedral Rock is the direction that it started moving towards.
Which I'll add is we saw a lot of air traffic that night, and all the air traffic was following a certain trajectory. There was like kind of a 90 degree angle cross traffic. And all of the incoming traffic to Sedona or the Phoenix area were coming from a specific direction. This light came from a totally different direction and moved in a total perpendicular direction. It was in the same angle, but it was way off than any other of the aircraft direction that we had witnessed that night. And we saw a lot of planes that night.
Yeah, we did. But you could hear them as well. This thing, we couldn't hear it. And not to mention, the light that we saw came out of nowhere. It just showed up.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, hey, look at me. Yeah, it pulsated. And so this first light, it actually went behind Cathedral Rock. And me and Ben were just super excited about this. I mean, it was something awesome to see in that area, and we're high-fiving and like, yeah, that was awesome.
Dudes being dudes, yeah.
And as soon as we started getting ready to leave again, all of a sudden another one showed up out of nowhere, and
which was a different color. It was a white light.
Yeah, it was a different color. It was a brighter, whiter light, and this thing lit up even more than the first one that we saw.
Yeah,
and so it did two quick, real bright bursts, and then it moved up and it disappeared.
Right. And I often think about this in my memory. There was not any clouds that direction. Remember, there was a big thunderstorm.
Right.
So had there been clouds, we would have seen refraction or reflection of the light on top of the clouds. That thing was so far up, there wasn't any clouds to say how. The altitude of that last one. The last one was the most convincing. The first one that we had previously talked about was like an orange light. That, I don't know what that could have been, but this one, the last one we saw was this white light that pulsed a couple of times, and it was literally, as me and Joe were kind of communicating non-verbally, like, hey, do you see that?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We're looking at each other. We look back up, and it just gave us a little taste. It was like, hey, we're here. What's up, dudes? Let me show you what I can do. And then it was gone. It never showed up in a different part of the sky.
Yeah, and this was all throughout the course of maybe a minute.
Yeah.
A minute, we saw both of them. And me and Ben, we were kind of talkative at first, but then towards the end of it,
silence,
we were really silent. And, I remember thinking to myself,
sending good vibes
yeah,
out.
Yeah, we were sending out just the positive energy. And I remember thinking to myself, like, hey, if you guys are there, like, I would love to just see something, like something. And almost immediately after I had this thought in my mind, boom, it showed up.
Yeah, and I also had this idea, like, I wanted to let them know, like, hey, we're not trying to capitalize on this. We're not recording this. This is just for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah, we're probably going to tell the story for sure, but we're not going to have video evidence. This is all going to be, this is between you and me. Yeah, well, we're human. We're going to talk about it, but it was one of those situations.
Incredible experience.
Yeah. It was really cool.
I love that story. Where were you standing when you were seeing all of this, though? Where were you on the planet?
So we were in Sedona, and as you drive up to Cathedral Rock, there's the parking lot, and if you walk up from the parking lot up and you start going up Cathedral Rock, there's this big flat area.
It's a plateau, kind of.
Yeah, right before you get to the the part where you have to really start to climb. It was just that big flat area. We were standing out there, and there was nobody there. It was there was people there.
There was people there up further onto the plateau, right?
But they ended up leaving because we could see their little lights.
Yeah.
And so then when it was just me and Ben standing out there, I mean, we stood there and just looked straight up for about an hour.
2 hours, dude.
Yeah.
I think it was an hour and a half to 2 hours.
About an hour and a half, maybe. Yeah.
So right to your right, you can see to Cathedral Rock and Bell Rock.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're looking directly at...
Okay, and so you're on that flat. Okay, that is the spot where every full moon, all of the Sedona natives crawl up there and have a big drumming circle.
Oh, cool.
You remember I told you about the drum circle?
Yeah.
Yes, you found the spot.
Man.
And the reason that they drum it in is because that is their version of CE5.
Love it. It's just their different form of meditation, you know?
Okay, so Peter Gersten, who is called the UFO attorney, 1980s. He lives out there, and he is obsessed with Bell Rock. Peter Gersten says that Bell Rock is a UFO. It's just, it was parked, and then the rains came, and the sediment came, and all that sediment is on top of the UFO. And he says one day it's just going to break right through.
That would be incredible to see if it happens in our lifetime.
Yeah. So anytime that you want to come to Sedona, you can probably call up Peter Gersten, because he takes people up to the top of Bell Rock.
Man, yes, that would be awesome.
And he's like an old man now. He's like 75, 76. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Let's get back to the photos so I can get through them really quickly. I know this is like, we've already passed 2 hours, almost 2.5.
Hey, also.
Okay, so the next one, this is the woman that was taking the photos of Tom Dongo, in that last photo of him looking up at the moon, and you can see that there's some sort of energy that is coming down and right into her foot.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's what that
like
photo is.
Like a little pink thing.
This is my favorite photo of Tom Dongo's collection of Boynton Canyon. This photo looks like there's some, 1964 Buick background. I don't know. And it's coming right over the Boynton Canyon Kachina woman hoodoo.
Yeah.
And then there's a woman that is standing down there, and her boyfriend's taking a photo of this, and he doesn't see anything. He's just taking a photo of his girlfriend standing in front of the Kachina, a woman hoodoo, before they get to enchantment, where they're going to have to turn around and drive out because, they don't have reservations there.
Yeah.
The fact that this craft that looks
triangular.
Doesn't it look like the back of a 64 Buick?
It definitely does, yeah. It's a great album cover. Yes. It looks like a giant 8-track just really floating in the sky.
It definitely looks like it.
It's amazing.
Like a classic
That's an incredible photo.
Yeah, and Tom said that he had given a talk in town, about Bradshaw Ranch, and directly the next canyon over from Loy Canyon is Boynton Canyon, and enchantment is built in the mouth of Boynton Canyon. And the Native Americans say that this is where the Kachina woman lives.
Wow.
And the Kachina woman, this is her vagina.
Really?
She gives birth to every soul in the universe.
Damn.
From this canyon.
That's the coolest vagina I've ever seen.
What's up, girl?
Okay, so anyway, here's somebody that's backing up to see mom, obviously.
Yeah.
But I I think that this is so incredible. This was taken, it is a slide. It's been analyzed. It is not a double exposure of any kind. It was taken in the early 70s.
Wow. Man, I'm speechless. Like, this photo is incredible.
It's really, I don't have words for this because it just kind of depicts a lot of things. And what year did you say, Jocelyn, that this photo was taken?
I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was 1972.
Okay, so in 1972, okay, so my profession is graphic design. I know for a fact in 1972 there were no computers to do graphic design. There was a lot of double exposure, a lot of things like that. And I don't know how to tell the difference, but this thing to my eye, and this is a slide. You can't Photoshop a slide. Right. And I'm zooming in, and normally around an object that has been, photo enhanced or swapped out. In the old days, you would have to literally cut it out with an X-Acto knife and place it on the next slide, right? The next negative, and reverse it and then take that photo again. Usually that creates some inconsistencies within the pixels, and there's no inconsistencies between the skyline, the clouds. It's just a very fluid
and now
definition.
Let's not forget 1972. They didn't get these photos back for 2 weeks after they returned home.
Wow, yeah.
They sent them out to be processed. They were all slides. Then it took them, a while to get one of those carousel things and, mark all of them. They put them into the carousel. Then they started looking at their vacation slides.
All right. It looks like this thing's just kind of winking at you from the behind. I'm just kind of noticing. I don't know. I can't get over the fact that this thing it looks like a giant triangle with two vents at the back. And the two vents is what you see as the spectator in this photo. This is just the most phenomenal photo out of. Well, there's one other one.
Oh yeah.
But this is the second most.
I wanted to point out to you. Do you think this looks a little bit like the frog face in that blue orb?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it does.
Damn.
It is pretty
That's the reason
similar.
I included it, because every time I see that blue orb, the face in the blue orb.
Wow. Okay. Now I see why. All right, man.
Right?
That's just.
Are we on the same page?
I'm speechless.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's hurry through because we're already. Okay.
Okay, let's keep going.
This is a photo of a UFO I took over my house.
This is 19. Images 19. This looks like a typical flying saucer. This is a phenomenal.
Yes.
Great photo.
Yes. Okay. So, this is a photo that a friend took and gave it to. I told her to, give it to Tom Dongo, and so she did. But this is taken over of like the uptown area of Sedona in 2006.
That's great.
Cool.
Great photo.
I love that.
All right. So what it looks like is a UFO with a lot of windows.
Yeah.
Oh, right. The next one. Now we're looking at 20.
This is images number 20.
This is the one that I have so many questions for you, Jocelyn. This is like the most amazing photo I've ever seen.
Okay. So a friend of mine said, yeah, this blue thing keeps going by my house about every night, about, around 9:15 and 9:20. And she's got a condo unit, two stories, and it's in Uptown. And
wow.
She says, yeah, and it goes right down into their wallow. And one of the reasons that this is such a fun story for me, one day, Kim Carlsberg and I were having lunch at this cafe in Uptown. And it's, the second floor up, and we're looking directly down into Barra Wallow. And so, they're always looking at the weird things going on. And Kim says, "Do you see that silver thing that just dropped down from the sky and is just sitting there?" And I go, "Yeah, what is that?" And it looked like this, but it was like, pretty far away, like we're looking a mile away. So it's just looking like this kind of blue silver thing, and it just sits there. And we're watching it, she sits there. And so Kim calls the waitress over, and she goes, "Do you ever see something weird going on over there?" She goes, what do you say, weird? She goes, "Well," Kim says, do you see that kind of blue silver thing over sitting right there, kind of spinning?" And the waitress kind of looks out. She goes, "Yeah, I see it." She goes, and Kim says, "Have you ever seen anything like that before?" And the waitress said, "No, I don't know. I got to go. My order's up." And so she runs away. And we're looking around this entire restaurant, and the people on the streets walking back and forth, they're completely oblivious.
Oh,
of course they are.
And like right over across the canyon in Barra Wallow.
Yeah.
It looked like this.
Oh, that's incredible. It's like just right there in Uptown, you see it. You would think everybody would see it.
Yes. Can I buy a red t-shirt from that thing? I don't know.
I love this photo.
Okay.
I love it. It's
so
like
a question about it?
Like a spinning top.
Yeah.
It's not your typical like saucer shape
but it was spinning really slowly.
Wow.
So I'm just like, for any skeptic out there, I've always got to play devil's advocate. What human-made object has that many windows in that circular? So some people might say, okay, I don't believe this, but some people might say, oh, that's just a very directed light on a lighthouse. Okay, well, name me one lighthouse that has, we can see at least 5 windows. That doesn't exist. That's not how a lighthouse is made.
Yeah.
That is something in the sky. To me, when I'm looking at it, that is something in the sky that is not man-made.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even like a water tower lit from the bottom.
Right.
But even then, like, where are the legs on it? And what kind of water tower do you know that has windows?
Yeah, and what kind of... So the angle of the bottom, you see where it's kind of glowing the brightest?
Yeah.
So... if that were a structure that was grounded on the ground, you would see the legs.
Yeah, the pillars or something.
The pillars, right.
Absolutely, but nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I love this photo.
That's my favorite photo. Jocelyn, when you sent that to me, my jaw dropped, and I told Joe today, and yesterday, or I guess it was today, that I saw your email, and I was like, hey, bro, I'm not going to send you any photos until you get here, because Jocelyn just sent us some jaw droppers. And I'm so excited about this photo. I think anybody listening to this, and I hope we're describing it well, and when you get home from your drive home or your drive to work, get to work, look at this photo, go on our website, UFOGaragePC.com. Check out this photo, because this is the best photo I've seen of a UFO ever.
Yes.
Jocelyn, you did that. This is credited to you and your photographer that you got this from.
Yeah, this is one that belongs to Tom Dongo. I have to get permission before I can publish it. Yeah.
So we got to give permission where, credit where credit's due. But I mean,
or from the person that took it for sure.
Definitely.
But I would love to. Now, the thing about it is, if you took this UFO and you made a building and you put the building into the side of the canyon right there, it would look exactly like Lucille Ball's house.
What?
Oh yeah.
My gosh.
Oh yeah. Go on Google.
You gotta tell me more.
And try to find the image. I'll try to, or maybe I'll go uptown and I'll just snap a photo of it. But Lucille Ball has a house that she built that is semicircular, right in Bear Wallow.
Yeah, so we're looking at photos.
Big windows.
We're looking at photos right now.
Yeah, it's.
That's a gorgeous house, man. Wow.
It really is a great photo.
Yeah, it is really something. All right, so can we move on?
Yeah,
now,
let's do
or
it.
you guys talk about them anymore?
Oh, no,
right.
let's do it. Let's move on.
21 is
21.
One of those photos from Tom Dongo of the shoot random photos. And this is taken from a slide. And this is a photo that he took as he's just kind of walking around the grounds of Bradshaw Ranch, and he's just randomly taking photos. And he gets a picture of this guy.
So we're looking at this guy. He's like a tall, lanky...
And yeah, go ahead. You described him. What does he look like to you?
He looks like Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk in a white in a white jumpsuit, and he has glowing eyes. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at, Jocelyn. What can you give us some background on that?
Okay, so this was taken in, I want to say 1985 or so. There were some things happening out at Bradshaw Ranch, and Linda Bradshaw was really into the fringe, but Bob Bradshaw, he could give a damn. You had to like really hit him over the head, and he did get some hit him over the head moments, but he never wanted to talk about it.
Oh,
Bob
the Builder.
Linda would call up Tom Dongo because Tom was her friend, and Tom was really into this stuff. Tom wrote 7 books about Bradshaw Ranch, and that's what made Bradshaw Ranch really, out there in the public. Otherwise, people wouldn't know about Bradshaw Ranch to, the neighbors
absolutely.
next door. But Linda would call him up, and she would say, hey, Tom, Bob's asleep, but there seems to be something happening out there in the pasture. I don't know. Why don't you come over and bring your camera? And so Tom Dongo would come over and he would interview Linda, get her to describe everything that had happened. And they got everything documented, and then they would go out and they would either videotape it or they would take photos, and most of the time it was just they would take photos, and this is before digital cameras and all of that. And so they would take photos with their Canon cameras and slide film, and they wouldn't know what they took until they went to the Walgreens the next day and got their photos in their 24-hour service. This is one of the photos that Linda said, oh my goodness, there's something going on. There's
somebody doing the moonwalk.
I don't know what it is, but there is something going on, and she described several paranormal things that had happened. Nothing that was earth-shattering or even remembering. I can't even remember because they were so insignificant. I mean, sort of like, oh yeah, I found the best parking spot at the grocery store today, because I could just feel it in my mind. Okay, well, that's kind of kindergarten intuitive.
Right. No, I'm really so Jocelyn, like a lot of our listeners are very new to the subject, so that's a very great way to put it. And you never forget, like, everybody needs a reminder that this stuff is it's weird, and sometimes you need a little bit of an analogy to go along with the story that actually happened to somebody. And we're looking at this photo, and I'm seeing this humanoid figure, and obviously there's two glowing lights, and there's like a white body figure, and it seems like a forearm is kind of crossing his pelvic region, and it looks like somebody that's walking across the camera. I don't know, maybe he's flexing his muscles or something, but it's definitely something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is just one of those photos that was taken randomly. They didn't know what they had until the next day. So even Tom isn't quite sure when this was taken, or we can tell by the post on the left that it was taken somewhere near the entrance of Bradshaw Ranch.
Right. Wow.
But, it was after this that Tom started taking really detailed notes about the photos that he was taking. Because this guy would capture the most phenomenal things. I've been out there with him, standing right next to him, taking photos and not capturing what he was capturing.
Wow. So you have first-hand experience realizing that you're just taking photos. This law that you guys have, I think it's a great law. It's like, just take photos often and out into the abyss. I think it's a great practice for anybody that's out there in these possible vortices locations, and just anywhere when you're kind of being open to accepting possibly interdimensional beings. But great photo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can we go on to
let's go to
22?
22.
This is another one that a client sent. I believe she sent this to Tom Dongo first and then sent it on to me, or had copied me on it. And this is a photo that she had taken after meditation on top of Airport Mesa.
Wow. Yeah, you could see the trees in the foreground, and there's a light coming from above the camera's I
think that's the moon.
Okay.
And I think, that she'd captured some sort of, I want to say that this is some sort of lens flare, but it was like some sort of impossible angle to get a lens flare from.
Yeah, it's really solid.
For all these claims of, Jocelyn, I'm not saying that your speculation is unfounded. A lot of people claim a lot of these orbs or whatever is lens flares. I know a few photographers. I kind of want to now approach them and hey, can you recreate this? In what conditions can you recreate this? Yeah. I'd love to see what they would come up with.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that. I'm like, everything's wrong and it can't be a lens flare. I'm totally being open to the possibility. I think you are too, and I think Joe is too.
Let me refer you back to the photo where I took of my three girlfriends with a rainbow around them.
Right.
I had an intuitive feeling at that time to take that photo, and I think this woman had a same intuitive feeling to take the photo.
Yeah.
And if we follow our intuition and we try to be better people, I think that's all we need to do to save the world.
Ooh, preach, sister! I love that.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. I love that. I think, as we're talking through these photos, I mean, obviously these are just phenomenal photos. I've never seen mind-blowing photos. I'm so excited about these things, and it, as caught up as I can get into the physical evidence of things, the thing that I try to hold on to, I think Joe as well too, is that the mind, the state of mind that you have to be in, and it's not about the physical proof. Again, maybe it might be getting back to religion and all that stuff. You just have to believe, but I feel like there is physical proof of, let's say the word prayer, because everybody knows what prayer means and everybody's in on the same thought process. There's something to it, and that at the end of the day.
Well, absolutely, because, people get really offended by the word prayer, but they don't even mind the word meditation.
Right,
well,
right.
Meditation
Good point.
is prayer, except for you listen instead of speak.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Good point.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So, I get tired of this schizophrenic world we live in sometimes, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Too. When me and Joe come to visit you in Sedona, let's meditate for the first few hours when we get there. Let's listen.
Right. I think so. Okay, so here's my image number 23. This is also one that Tom Dongo gave to me.
Amazing.
And I don't know what this is.
Explain to our listeners what we're looking at who can't see the photo.
You see the skyline of our red rocks. You can see that there is a quarter moon, but there is this big flare in the middle. Now there's a house or I don't know, maybe that could be an orb down on the ground. But what we're really looking at is this huge flare in the sky. And this is reported by a lot of Sedonians. I did not see it, but I did hear about it. Kim saw it. A lot of people said that about 2:30, between 2:30 and 2:40, sometime in that, houses just lit up all over that particular area, like the sun had come up. And their houses flooded with this light.
Right, so it's behind.
And it lasted for about an hour, and then it went away.
Wow! And in this photo, the light, this very strong light, is behind Cathedral Rock, and there's this beam. It's not a beam. It's like almost like a circular, almost a disc shape. To where below the disc shape is this protrusion of light that's kind of going down. I mean, it looks like the depiction of like old, Da Vinci era paintings, like realistic.
Yeah,
paintings.
like of the Holy Spirit or something coming out of the sky.
Called.
Yeah,
like Renaissance.
Yeah, the like Renaissance type paintings. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's incredible.
Which also brings up another topic of conversation is like, all right, these people in the 1500s, let's say they're starting at the 1200s. All right, they're not just making stuff up. They're painting things that they saw. That's the best they can do.
Uh-huh.
And this photo is so indicative of, oh man, like it just, I'm at a loss for words of how similar this depiction is of paintings that I've seen, of witness accounts that I've read. It's phenomenal. I just love it. All
right, so let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Thank you.
It's TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
I don't want to break my friend Lorian's 3-hour. Okay, so images number 24, Jocelyn Sedona images number 24. This is going back to that same night with that woman that we had talked about a few photos ago. And she was taking a photo of Tom, but what you see is this orange portal. It's like a door, and it looks like even a gray is standing over it, like it's some sort of guard.
Right.
And Tom is directly taking a photo of it. There's a lot of orbs around. There's some energetic, I don't know, it looks like lightning that looks like it has been slowed down by 1,000% or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And these two guys, Tom is taking these two guys. They're from like a history channel or something like that. They're doing some documentary.
Huh.
What I want you to look is kind of step back and use your eyes and see that you are seeing a giant ship come in. That's the only way that I can describe it. But it also has a consciousness, because you can see that there are eyes and a nose, and on the right-hand side, that wavy stuff is his hair. He's kind of dark-colored.
Huh.
He's a very long face. He's got these eyes that are looking down at Tom taking this photo. And on the right-hand side, you can kind of see his hair coming down.
Yeah.
It's almost like a ram skull.
Something else that is behind him that is square. That is what I call the orange man, or the square orange man.
Yeah. Wow.
And that is Tom is directly looking and taking a photo of, but they are completely surrounded by these energies and the bright orb on the right. That is, I believe, is sort of a guardian orb. I've taken photos of that before.
Right.
Yeah, that's whatever it is. It's definitely something is there.
Oh, whatever it is, he likes Tom's vibe, because it looks like
it's
he's
just wrapped around him.
He's like, "Hey, you're cool. The other guys, fuck these guys," because it's like this like lightning going on with the Brooklyn dude.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's really good energy out there.
Pardon my language, by the way.
Well, it's really good energy out there, because I want you to really take a look at this photo. I want you to see that what I called his hair is this wavy gold, a wiry stuff that, goes in and out. But look how it hugs Tom's back.
Yeah.
It's right to his back.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It's like it's patting him or pulling him in.
It seems like there's definitely
hugging him and saying, yeah, love you.
Yeah, he's definitely chosen there's three people he's chosen, or whatever this entity is. There's got to be a chakra there. It's like, hey, you're good people. And then it's looking at these other guys, giving, the two off to the left.
Well, the other two guys have this other special energy. Look at that guy on the left has his arm up, and that energy is encircling his hand.
Oh, wow.
On his arm up, and it's touching into the heart area of the guy on the right.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that you point that out, that's incredible.
I guess I was just making jokes, but now as I see you saying that totally makes sense. I
use this as like, the message of the ETs is that when you look at photos like this is their love for us. This is their caring. They're trying to inspire. Remember, this is right next door to the mother herself. We're all her little babies. You go out there, you get it's unconditional love.
Right. Oh man, that's a gorgeous
now, why
photo.
would the government want to corner the market on unconditional love?
Oh, I love that.
I don't know. It's
Okay, let's think about that.
yeah.
All right, as we go on to the next photo.
Okay, next photo.
And this is the next photo. This is one that Tom Dongo gave to me. This is called the birthing cave. Anybody that wants information about how to get there.
Image
Do you
25.
see the umbilical cord that goes out to?
Yes.
Doesn't this look, I mean, I'm sorry, but doesn't this look like somebody giving birth?
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yes, that little line coming out looks
And
exactly like an
here's
umbilical
this woman who is hiking out to the birthing cave in the Long Canyon area. You can probably look it up on the internet and find out how to get out there. But her friend, here she is. She is going to, oh man, do you want to be her? Yeah, maybe I do.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like to me
This is one of the reasons that people come to Sedona. They don't even know. And how can you explain this?
You can't.
It's like, yeah, people know intuitively that they want to come out to Sedona. They want to connect to the things that will heal them. They will want to connect to the things that will bring them higher consciousness. But, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, this is how you do it. You walk out there and you ask for the experience, right?
Well, you could do that. You could just guess, but I mean, I feel like I'd want to.
I'll gladly take somebody out there for $300. I love the money, but
there we go.
Really, get a fucking map, right?
Yeah, definitely. I gotta say,
I love that attitude, Jocelyn.
All right,
Thank you for
here
that.
it is.
That's refreshing.
All right, so the next one. This is also taken. Going down into Bear Wallow, a UFO, the one I was sort of telling you about. Kim and I both saw something very similar. It's taken from Uptown.
It's image 26.
Right. Okay, so this is a photo that I decided to share. This is a photo of me taking what I think is a photo of a UFO.
So Jocelyn light beam.
And Kim took a photo. Kim got one of those messages of take a photo now, and so Kim Carlsberg, who is first female to be inducted into the Photographer Hall of Fame.
wow.
Took this photo of me, and she said, I have been taking photos of you all day, and this light being is following you.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
So in all of your photos, this light beam is showing up.
Yeah, in her photos of whenever she took photos of me. So that's me taking a photo. I'm looking toward Mingus Mountain. We're at the Bradshaw Ranch, and I feel a UFO. So I'm taking a photo of what I think is a UFO. And Kim's taking a photo of me, and she said, oh, yeah, every time I took a photo of you today, this guy showed up.
Wow.
And she is a photographer inducted into the Hall of Fame of Photographers.
Yeah.
She knows the difference between a lens flare and, something else. But,
yeah, that's something important to include. I mean, this person that's doing this for a living, she knows the difference, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Okay, the next, this is the Lemurian Temple. The reason I included this is if you look up in the sky, you'll see these little gray orbs. And I believe that is one of their ships. Now, I have done many meditations about this spot, and this in my meditations and my remote viewing was the holy temple of Lemuria when Sedona was Nahu, the Crystal City.
Huh. Man, so because underneath of all the rock and the red stuff, the dust, it's all crystal. So at one time there must have been just nothing but crystal to like for the eye to see, right? At some point.
Well, yeah. In our, I told you before, I did a meditation with Paige Bryant. And Paige Bryant, she's sort of famous around Sedona for really pointing out to everybody, hey, I've got some vortices here. And I had met her during, one of the sojourns that I had done to Sedona before I moved here full time. And I did this meditation, and I am a remote viewer, and we decided to remote view Sedona during Lemurian times. And what we saw was a crystal city that floated on a water. It was a water passage that went down into the Gulf of Mexico. No, I mean the Gulf of California.
Oh, wow.
And, just think about if the Colorado River were 6 times the size it is now.
Oh, man, that would be huge.
And, it completely flooded into the whole Verde Valley. That was pretty much a big lake, but Sedona was some sort of port city because we were also getting UFOs as well as, sea shipments from all over the globe.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right? Okay, so this is the Lemurian temple. If you look at it, it's a beautiful pyramid on top and the columns that are beneath the pyramid.
Yeah.
And how it went out in these staircase fashions toward the sea.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I definitely see it. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
The same angle, too.
As you can see, there are some dots in the sky. But when I saw those, they were silver, and I knew that they had something to do with this. They come back, and they haven't been back in a long time. Let's talk about geological years and, what has happened and why it's important. But, the Anunnaki back 6,000 years ago said, we're going to come back. Zachariah Sitchin said, yeah, they're going to come back.
Yeah.
And so now they're coming back.
Oh, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
holy shit is right.
Yeah, they're coming back, and it's like, what happened to the pyramid?
Right, so, number 6
yeah.
S600 4130.
Yeah.
This is the old, you can go back to where the photo of my husband standing in it. 10-foot tall steel enclosure of Bradshaw Ranch. This is what it used to look like.
Oh, cool. And now it's just a metal fence.
This is the one time that I came up with Kim and Miriam Delicato and Sandra O'Donnell. Oh, Sandra. Oh, man. You should get her on your podcast. Oh, man. Okay. So, anyway, we're out there, and Sandra just said, my star people are here.
Ooh.
And I just immediately started taking random photos, and so that's one of the random photos. Is we got an orb right at the front gate of Bradshaw Ranch when Sandra O'Donnell said, "My star people are here."
Oh,
there
man.
it is.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see right above the closed to the public or whatever.
Right there. There they are. Okay, so the next one. This is UFO Woo.
There's four
and
orbs.
You can see that there are 4 orbs, 5 maybe, over this little thing that looks like a rock formation that looks like a mushroom, and then one that looks like a squirrel. And okay. All right, so this is,
cool.
Remember I showed you the photos earlier of the petroglyphs with the white, tall whites.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is taken at a distance, but we're looking directly into that canyon underneath that mushroom, that darkest part.
Oh.
And this is taken from the viewpoint of Bradshaw Ranch. I'm standing on the high point of Bradshaw Ranch and looking toward Woo Ranch. And I caught those 4 definite. I think, though, that it might be the 4 corners of one craft. But definitely, I knew that they were there. I could feel it from the top of my head to the bottom of my toes. I knew they were there, and I knew they were monitoring us.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah. All right. There again is that bell-shaped craft.
And now we're looking
go
at
on because that was the last photo.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so, oh my gosh, 3 hours, you guys. You're such champs. Yes.
No, that was incredible.
That was a perfect pace. I really, I have not enjoyed myself more than tonight, Jocelyn. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
How often do you get to see photos like this and actually have somebody walk you
through it? Yes.
Each photo and kind of give you the backstory of all of it. Because, as we sit here and we Google things and we look at images and we watch videos,
right.
It's always such like a fast-paced type thing. And it's like, oh, I saw this cool video or I saw this awesome photo. Check this out. But very rarely do you get the opportunity to actually have somebody talk you through a photo and explain to you like the meaning behind all of it.
And when you sent me these photos, Jocelyn, I was like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Why haven't we done this in the past? But like it just meshed up so well because number one, I feel like you have the most the best evidence I've seen in a really long time. If people are looking, if you're just listening, our listeners, what's up, y'all? Thank y'all for making it this far. But I just like people that are looking for photo evidence. This is the episode. You're listening to Jocelyn. Like this, Jocelyn, you've been in this for a really long time. You know what you're talking about. You've seen all there is to see. And you're not just like, hey, this could be that. You're giving us this evidence, and you're giving us our listeners these photos of personal accounts of people that have sent you these things. Like this is probably the best content, physical evidence content that we've had on this podcast. And I really want to highlight that for a second. Because it's amazing. If you're just listening, please go to our website and click on this photo and listen to this podcast as you're going through these photos as we're talking about it.
Oh gosh, you guys, you have me all shuffling and shucksin' and oh man. Anyway, I mean, you could throw a stone in Sedona and find somebody that will give you solid evidence of paranormal things that are happening in Sedona, and they'd be happy to talk to you.
Well,
but I know that you've talked to Lorian Fenton, who is a good friend, and now you have to talk to Melinda Leslie. Yeah,
yes.
That is your next logical step. Melinda is my best friend in Sedona, and she is, tied at the hip with Lorian Fenton. And between the three of us, we're just like, the troublemakers.
Oh, we knew that. We knew that much.
Yeah, you guys, to us, you guys are the three queens.
The Point, the movie called The Point. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, then you see it, and then as you watch it, you watch for the three of us, and I'm sure you'll find it.
Awesome. I'm going to have to find it now and check it out. Absolutely.
Oh, but it's been so much fun. You guys were so much fun to meet, and that's one of the gifts that I have as an intuitive, is to speak to the people I need to introduce to the world.
Yeah, well, one thing that we always will remember is that I believe it was you that told us, you're here. We were at UFO Congress. He said, "Well, you're in it now. There's no backing out."
Right.
You're
That is so totally something I would say.
I know, I loved it. You said
Yeah.
you're here to meet these people for a reason.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, you are. I told you before, we need somebody to carry the torch. Everybody's dying.
Well, we are happy to do that. We need the
young people. We need the next generation to take over and to never forget, and to look at things. Look at, I'm giving you a big giant hint here. Go out there before all the water is gone, or maybe
right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to say, I don't know if it's just coincidence or if, there's something about it. I know that Sedona calls you. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely called you, for sure.
And absolutely. And I have been, before I even went to Sedona, I have been obsessed with that area before I even knew anything about it. And for some reason, I have always wanted to go to Sedona, and on my honeymoon, I finally got a chance to go out there with my wife, and then my heart just stayed there in Sedona. And when me and Ben got the opportunity to go out to Phoenix, to go out to the UFO Congress, I told him that we were close enough that we absolutely had to go to Sedona and check it out. And every time I go there, my body is completely different, and I'm one of those people who has a hard time sleeping, and anytime I'm in Sedona, I sleep like an absolute baby, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like, even though I've only been there twice now, like, man, like I belong there. And it's such a strange feeling that just comes over me.
And my wife doesn't know this, but we're totally gonna go in on halvesies. You and me, Joe, we're gonna go in on halvesies on a house, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Did I mention I have a guest house? All you have to do is let me know when you're going to be here. I'll happily host your stay.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Yes, that would be so awesome. Thank you very much for that. Because
oh my gosh.
I absolutely love Sedona. It's just so strange how me and Ben, are just fascinated with this subject, and for some reason that place just called me before I even knew anything about it, you know? And I would love to do like a regression with you. I would love to find out some things about myself that I don't even know, and that would be absolutely incredible.
Did I tell you that I studied for 15 years with Dolores Cannon?
No, you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That too.
Oh, we also heard that you...
did I tell you that I used to study with Joseph Campbell?
No, but I read that on your on your little biography.
Did I tell you that I did like a retreat with the Dalai Lama?
That's incredible.
We heard that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too.
We heard that.
That is awesome.
So, you listeners that are listening right now, like, Jocelyn
is legit.
You're a legend, and you're the legend that people need to know about.
Oh my gosh! I gotta get busy on this book.
Absolutely.
I'm like 2/3 way, and then I get 2/3 the way, and then I go back and I start looking at the first part again. I think, I gotta change that, and then I get 2/3 the way. Like, oh my God, I've got, new information. I have to change that. And so it's been taking me a hell of a long time just to relinquish what I know to be true. And part of it is that I'm thinking that maybe some of the information that I'm going to give out may put a few independent vortex tour guides out of work.
Ooh,
that's all.
Yeah.
And that's it's a hard thing to realize. But on the other hand, I heard that a couple of these tour guides have abandoned people on the trail on the way out.
What?
Who does that?
Well, that's not cool. Not at all.
Who does that? Oh, somebody who's following somebody that is starring on a History Channel episode, and they had to keep up.
Oh,
wow!
Oh my gosh, it's been so sad to see what's happened to Sedona as they sell out. It's like 90% of the people out there are pure bullshit, but there are 10% out there that are still real.
Right. Well, if you can put the bullshit artists out of work and keep the 10% around, I mean, you're doing us all a favor.
Yeah, and also from our hangouts at UFO Congress, I feel like we need to have the Three Musketeers, which means you and Melinda and Lorianne. And us too.
Oh my gosh!
And then we'll just kind of air. It's like a Festivus. You ever watched Seinfeld? We'll have a Festivus one episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, you would be in for it. It'll
be a 5-hour episode.
I'm going to give you some private information after this, but those girls are trouble, and I'm going to tell you.
And I love them. I love them for it.
Oh, that's so good.
I love it.
It's so good.
It's so great. Well, oh my gosh, Jocelyn, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
I love you guys. It was wonderful to have met you at the Congress. I knew that you were people of my own heart and my own consciousness, and I appreciate you calling me and inviting me onto your show. This has been a true honor.
Absolutely. And you were the start of our kind of awakening in this community, and us getting into this thing that we really are very passionate about. And it's kind of, you mean a lot to us, and thank you so much for taking our call and just hanging out with us for like 3 hours.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, seriously, Jocelyn. We can't thank you enough, and we need to get you back on the podcast again. I'm sure we're gonna have you on multiple times. So just be expecting my email in a couple of months, and I'll hit you up, and I would
look forward to it, and I look forward to you guys coming out and here and visiting me in Sedona. Yeah. Southwest is having a sale, so anywhere you want to go, $49.
There you go.
Right.
I like that. Well, maybe we'll have to give you a little pit stop before we go out to UFO Con.
Oh yeah,
that'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Well, she's
fun.
gonna be out there too.
Hey, there we go, baby.
Yep. We'll all meet up. We'll all meet up again.
Okay. I am really looking forward to seeing you at UFO Con with my friend Lorianne Fenton and Melinda Leslie, and there's some new friends that I have just made that are going to be speaking there. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything.
All right,
we love you
Jocelyn,
too.
Love you
Thank
too.
you so much.
Yes, thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Dude,
that
was sick.
was so awesome.
I'm so glad we got her on the podcast.
Seriously, man, like it all comes like full circle, like from the beginning of us kind of like opening our eyes in this community and things that we kind of knew thought we knew about and really kind of understood a little bit deeper. It's a digging deeper. And this, dude, the photo evidence of this account, of her account, of Jocelyn's account, like,
incredible, dude.
I really hope that you guys that have been listening have been following along with these photos, because it makes the experience much better when you can like see exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And if you're just listening, like go back when you get home or whatever and click that link on our website and just follow along, because it makes it so much cooler. Like just to be able to see,
because it's basically like you guys are sitting here in the room with us, going along with everything that she is talking about, and I mean, just the detail and the story that goes behind every single photo is insane.
Super awesome.
Insane. Like, so yeah, I mean, Jocelyn, thank you and thank your friends like for these photos. I mean, that's incredible. That's something that would take us years to acquire.
Well,
if we were to just go out and try and snap photos of stuff on our own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The fun thing to think about is like we'll get some feedback from people that are listening to this episode, and I'd love for anybody that would love us to ask questions about, like next time we have her on, because we're gonna have her on again.
Yeah, definitely.
So if anybody thinks of anything to ask her, just email us or hit us up on the group, the Facebook group.
Yeah, let us know.
Yes, because we're gonna have her on again. We're gonna have Lorianne on, and then Melinda. We have yet to get a hold of her. She's kind of hard to get a hold of, but we're gonna get a hold of her.
We're gonna do it.
But so man, it's just such an awesome podcast.
Yeah, I'm pretty speechless.
Yeah, really. My mind is kind of blown, really.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, I mean, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that, man, and like we said, follow along with the photos, and you're gonna enjoy it 100 times more.
Yeah.
Like it's just those photos are amazing. Amazing photos.
Super, like sweet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's all I got, man.
That's it for me too, man.
My mind's mush.
Absolutely. Me too, man. So
thank y'all so much for listening. UFO Garage Podcast Nation. Thank y'all for sticking with us. We've only got more stories for you guys. More guests coming up. We've got more stories to tell you guys.
More fun.
More dumb shit that we're gonna make up along the way.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good times.
And check out the new website, UFO Garage PC. We've got everything from our merch and our sponsors and our blog posts that are going to be coinciding with each episode moving forward. We're excited where things are going, and we've made enough money to buy from donations and people buying t-shirts to buy the GoPros. So soon enough, we're going to be having some video, YouTube videos of us, and you'll get to see our faces and just us cracking up and, doing dumb shit.
Having a good time, dude. Having a good time, man. Doing the podcast. So
then you'll actually see how many beers pile up while we're having these podcasts.
Yep. Well, all right, man. That's it for me, brother.
That's it for me, too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Once again, this has been another episode of UFO Garage Podcast. And we'll talk to you next time.
Peace.